And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another day, another edition of the RSL, the Rival StarCraft League Season 2 Playoffs, day number 4. I'm Coach SI VIP. With me, I'm joined by, looks like Gemini and Sturgeon this day, and also all the lovely people in chat, by plushies as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Whew, it's been an intense couple of days here of non-stop RSL and Maestros of the game StarCraft. That continues today as well. It's gonna be intense, as you can see here. We'll be getting into the matches themselves, but as you can see here for our schedule, we are casting RSL BAM into Maestros of the game. We did that yesterday. We're going to be doing it today as well. Yesterday, I was very fatigued, and I'll be honest, I was struggling in that final series. In that final series of Maestros, I was struggling to keep myself awake. I will do my best to maintain my sanity, maintain my just my alertness coming into day number 2. I'll do my best. But yes, back to back from RSL BAM into Maestros of the game. We got a lot of content, we got a lot of StarCraft. Meanwhile, when it comes to the bracket itself, as you can see here, we're in the lower brackets. Sorry, we're in the upper bracket, my apologies. We're in the upper bracket. We just wrapped up with the upper bracket winners finals yesterday. Sorry, a couple of days ago even. Cure took down Shin 3-0. Zoun took down Raynor 3-2. Classic took down Trigger, and Maru took down Beyond. And as a result, we have the upper bracket remaining. When it comes to the lower brackets, Shin has been eliminated, Beyond has been eliminated. Both Trigger and Raynor won those matches. Bam, you can see it a little bit better here. But Trigger did take down Beyond, and Raynor did take down Shin. That was yesterday. Those are yesterday's matches. I do highly recommend the VODs. A lot of really fun, a lot of really exciting matches were had, of course. Raynor and Trigger, they are waiting for their next opponents, and of course, we're going to be focusing on that upper portion of the bracket. Up first is going to be Cure versus Zoun, followed by Maru versus Classic. Oh boy. So two TVPs here in the upper brackets. We're used to it, We're used to all the Terran versus Protoss matchups. But one of my favorite things about the RSL is the unique custom map pool. We get to feature some of the otherwise, or some of these newer like TLMC 21 maps. Once again, just to reiterate, for those who are unaware, I have been judging, have been examining, have been hard at work on TLMC 21. There are just so many maps. There are so many maps to go through, and for the past couple of days, I've been doing the best that I can to work through those maps. I'm almost done with all the standard maps. Fun fact, there's still rush maps, macro maps, dynamic maps, but the standard map pool is the biggest one, the submitted standard map, so I've been working through that, and once I'm done, I will be able to showcase that on stream, and we'll be going over through some of my thought process, likewise along some what I'm looking for, what I'm not looking for, kind of like what dictates like a higher rating or a lower rating. So we can go through that maybe next week, once I finish. And some of the maps that we have been judging are going to be featured in this tournament. Some of them are going to be featured in this tournament. We have our own thoughts, of course, especially now that we've had more in-depth looks at some of those maps. Otherwise, if you want to support the RSL, !RSL in the chat, so you can get a link to their Patreon. Of course, this is funded by the people, for the people as well. A massive amount of support on Patreon for the Rival StarCraft League. Of course, a lot of that money is going into the tournaments themselves. There are 3 seasons of RSL this year. We have just halfway through. We're even more than halfway through the 2nd season, into the 3rd season, into the offline finals. They have booked a venue. And there's going to be a live audience as well coming into the end of year finals of the RSL. Exciting stuff in regards to that. As always, I will say that I do feel like the RSL could do a little bit more when it comes to their production, when it comes to their show, especially here in the playoffs. The broadcasts are very short, like 2 hours, 3 hours at most. Really short broadcasts each day, because they only feature 2 matches, and there are no interviews. There's no winner's interview, there's no Korean translator either. I do feel like there's a little bit more that can be done in regards to the players and getting access to them and discussing and talking to them and interacting in some way and getting more out of that. Not just that, but the fact that they're in Korea, and a lot of the players that are competing, like, fun fact, every player in the upper bracket quarterfinals is in Korea. Sorry, upper bracket semis. Classic, Maru, Cure, and Zoun. We have a pure Korean upper bracket semis. It would be nice if we could get them in the studio, if we could, hear from them. Again, winners interviews to talk about some of the builds of choice. Like I know people would love to hear from Zoun, for example. But here we go. We're jumping into our first series. Jumping in.
I cannot wait to get this started here, guys. We've got Cure, the monster, Terran player in the top right in blue, and in the bottom left it is Vitality's Zoun.
Oh, we actually have intros.
Ooh, what are you feeling here for game number 1, Dylan? Who have you got in this series? Talk to me.
I actually feel like
also, if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is a Gamba time. Oh, I have to
see him continue that.
Make sure that we're good to go.
I think Zoun overall is pretty satisfied with having a TVP right now.
But there we go. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. And also a big shout out in the chat as well to Goma. Oh my god. Este Goma, papi. Este Goma. Gracias, papi. Gracias. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for the first time with a tier 1 sub. Gracias, Goma. Gracias. Este Goma.
Not messing around essentially in this tournament.
Yeah,
so just catching up in the chat.
Cure is slightly favored in this matchup against Zoun as well. I think it's like 60% or something in
Surging competing with Beefy. Oh, este Beefy.
Nothing too one-sided. I think this will be a competitive
Then you like was so judgmental. True,
the question
true.
on my mind is today in this series and today in general, how much mech are we going to see? Like recently,
that's the biggest challenge, getting players to veto 3-player swap maps less than they're doing strong. Now. I haven't seen any 3-player swap maps actually when going through TLMC, fun fact. Hasn't happened. But gracias, Goma, gracias.
So yeah, I mean, Cure had excellent success against it, or with it against Creator. Can't talk right now, man. It's the first game of the day.
It's the first game, dude.
What is happening?
No,
he did really well against Creator.
Double
and
gas.
So, I mean, Zoun obviously must have looked at that. He probably saw that was a possibility coming out of Creator, but Cure. Dang it! What the heck?
So I think they're talking about mech. Cure, he did showcase a lot of mech already, so mech is going to be on the table once again.
There you go.
In this matchup.
And yeah, like you said, we are seeing more mech these days. It's kind of something that fell out of fashion for a long time. There were a few Terrans trying to make it work, but it hasn't been kind of the standard or meta. But we did see it recently in RSL. I think once the Protoss get a bit more time to get used to it again and kind of prepare some specific counters and stuff like that, it might be more easy to deal with, but we'll have to see. Right now, this Reaper just gonna
I don't know how much StarCraft Sturgeon does cover, but he's touching on mech right now in TVP. Mech is very meta at the moment. Ever since EWC. Ever since EWC, so for the last 2 months, we have seen a lot of mech, not just in RSL, but in tournaments in general, from all the Terran players, except for Beyond. So Maru, Cure, Clem, Gabe, like all the top Terrans have been embracing mech in some way.
Wow.
Just as a heads up. So we're expecting mech at least a couple of times in this series.
Extremely quickly and getting sent right across the map. And it seems like Cure was a little bit greedy on his opening in general and didn't have any Marine or anything to help guard this. And a second SCV, wow, actually not dying right there. Very surprised to see, but nice micro overall. But still, a good delay with the initial Adept is what you always want to see as a Protoss.
Yeah, that's still good for him. I think if he got it again, that would have been insane, like how much he would have delayed the CC. Luckily, that Cyclone is able to shut that down. The follow-up here is going to be a Widow Mine. We'll probably be going into a Widow Mine drop.
Behind this, we do have a Twilight Council open into Stargate, so it looks like standard play out of Zoun coming into this. We have yet to really determine the setup that Cure is going for. He's getting a CC on the low ground. We'll see if he goes for a Starport into Banshee play, into faster third base, or if he goes into Bio as a setup, as a follow-up.
Looking like fairly standard stuff right now.
Yep, he should be feeling pretty good going into the mid game for now. Knows that there's not really too much crazy stuff going on, as long as this Widow Mine drop doesn't.
Ooh, that's 4 gates. Yeah, 3 gates in production. 4-gate Blink Stalker. Hyper aggression out of Zoun.
Of course, need to know that this Cloak Banshee is going to be coming up afterwards as well. But
so 4-gate Blink with the Robo.
Into a 4-gate Blink aggression.
Gemini does notice.
That is still going to give him a lot of opportunity after this Widow Mine drop is defended to go across the map and potentially cause some great damage himself. So let's see if this Widow Mine drop actually ends up doing anything. Looks like Zoun is perfectly well prepared and shouldn't really lose anything whatsoever here, except for a probe or 2.
Wow, the defense is so good from Zoun. He had the 3 Stalkers ready. Detonates the Widow Mine on just 1 probe each. That's optimal. That's the best you can get. The medevac does get out of there, but yeah, very good defense here from Zoun. Good start to this game. The follow-up is going to be Cloak Banshees, so Cure will have another chance to get some more damage done, trying to hurt the economy of Zoun. But he's getting his War Prism. He's going to be moving across the map soon. He's going to be trying to pressure the Terran a little bit before he can move out.
So as a reminder, this is 4-gate blink, so this isn't just pressure, this is meant to deal damage. This is meant to trade well, otherwise Zoun will fall behind. So he's moving in, he's quite dedicated with this push. I would not say this is an all-in, so no, it's not an all-in, but it's still quite dedicated nonetheless. So we'll see if he can get into the main base. There is a tank at the natural, but the main base is looking very barren, and no surprises here. Second factory, Cure is playing mech, which if you remember, we expect mech at least twice or maybe even 3 times in the best of 5.
That will help a lot. And look at that, he's even repositioning at this point, knowing what's going to be
Nice tank
coming his
setup.
way and trying to account for that. But it looks like Zoun's just going to go right into the natural. Love that Adept getting into, deny the tank shot going onto the tanks as well. The Widow Mine drop in the main base killed off. The double Banshee is the only thing at this point that should be keeping Cure in this game right now, as there is no observer on the front until just now.
I love that snap decision there to jump in, get that tank, get as much damage as you can, make the SCVs will be pulled. Like you say, now he does have detection, so he will have a way to shoot these Banshees, which are still cloaked, going to be draining their energy.
He can try to get behind the mineral line.
Whatever he can here. Actually,
attacking his own starport there, and not the correct play Cure, but that's okay. We all do that every now and then. But it's going to be quite difficult, I think, for Zoun.
So what's important is that Zoun, he scouts. He sees all the factories. So he knows 100% that it's going to be mech. He's aware, but again, he's still hoping for more damage. Yes, he got a tank. Yes, he got some SCVs, but he does need more. He rotates the low ground. Bunker has not been replaced.
Should allow him to be a little bit more careful with that. But
dives
another
in, gets one, gets 2 Banshees.
Right then, onto
just
those
one.
Banshees, and the tank will be able to kill off the tank. Unfortunately, that Banshee will still stay alive, but the Cyclone does fall, and without any upgrades, these Marines are also getting killed off extremely quickly, forcing the SCVs to be
they
pulled
can't hold
in
their
this,
own.
and so many of them.
Thankfully, no detection. If there was an observer here, that would just be game. That would just be game. It might still be game, to be honest.
16 going down.
Yeah, GG.
I love the way he split the army into the main, left nothing to defend the natural. Zoun sees that, just jumps in, gets that tank, gets the damage, and GG is called. What a dominant game 1.
Yeah, that was just easy as can be from Zoun. Like, that wasn't even close whatsoever. The initial harassment with just the Reaper.
Yeah, winding it back, that's why it was really important that we did try to emphasize as much as we could that it was 4-gate blink, right? That it was a dedicated build and it was meant to get damage done. From there, we saw that Zoun, initially, he had a bit of a shaky start. He did snipe the first tank, which was really good. The Cloak Banshees were becoming an issue, but we saw that the army was very barren, or it's very scarce, I should say, for Cure, and he didn't rebuild the bunker. He did not rebuild the bunker on the low ground. He did not have the defenses he needed for the tank. Yes, he had some Banshees, but now there was detection. Now there was an answer for that. And
the fact that he did get it is quite surprising, and almost getting the second was super crazy. But yeah, honestly, just incredible defense and just a very clean, decisive attack that just really just swept Cure off his feet, basically.
Yeah, and he wasn't all in by any means. He had the third Nexus behind that, so he can transition, get his 3 base up, get his Storm going, go into that kind of mid-game if he doesn't get enough damage, but that's about as good as you can ask for a game 1 for Zoun. That's, pretty straightforward victory, just able to make.
We should also emphasize as well that another reason why this did excel as well as it did is also because we were making that mech transition, and mid-transition, that is when the Terran player is quite vulnerable because they're investing quite a lot into those extra factories, whereas otherwise it would be making Marines, otherwise it would be fortifying the defenses and getting ready back at home.
Dealing the splash damage on Stalkers, they kind of just kill everything else.
Yeah. No, you need the tanks as the anchor points. Without that, you're just totally hopeless as a Terran. Since you're going for such a high-tech build, going for the 1-1-1, the stim is much later, of course, than if you were opening 3 racks or something like that, so there's just no way that you can really defend unless you have all those tanks at those points. But that was the last game, of course, and now we're going to be going into game number 2 on Ultra Love here. We'll see if Cure can rally back a little bit and not make this an 0-3 or anything.
Yeah, that was such a textbook game from Zoun. The defense of the Widow Mine drop was so good. He basically took no damage. Only 2 probes going down, which is the minimum, basically. They're always going to get, a probe or 2. And then, yeah, just delaying that CC for so long has such a big impact. They can't make SCVs as early as they want to. It slows down their economy. The Banshees he made,
so from here we're getting into Ultra Love. Ultra Love is a smaller map, shorter rushes to spike rounds. We'll see if Cure does go for another economic start. We'll see if he goes something more tech heavy. We'll see how Cure does adjust. He might try to go mech again. Again, he never quite got into his own rhythm. He never quite got into his own game. He was denied before he could really get into the mid game and embrace his mech. So he might just try again.
But does it in a way that's not meant to.
Ooh, 2-gate opener. Uh-oh. Zoun hyper aggressive.
This game at least will try to do something that's a little bit
Gemini should notice.
More overall defensive, maybe just going for a solid Raven opener after the 1-1-1 instead with much faster tanks instead of going for the cloak and stuff like that. Ravens generally can be pretty good on the defense with the auto turrets, and they can also still throw
so a 2-gate opener here, it will delay the expansion. So Zoun is going for a delayed Nexus himself for extra gateway units early on. The goal here is to break Cure early and to get economic damage, delay the CC, maybe even get more than that depending on his control. Like, there's a lot of potential early on here for Zoun to wreak havoc, especially because Cure is going for a greedy build. He's going for a Rax expand.
Before we dive too deep into it. But, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised overall if we have a slightly similar... Oh, wait. Oh, my God. I didn't even notice. I was yapping. I didn't even notice.
Yapping, dude.
Yeah, now they noticed.
So
they got there. They got there. It's okay.
Possibly, we're going to see him move those across the map. As Cure, you don't want to get your CC delayed again. You want to get into a kind of normal mid-game where you get to be the aggressor at some point, right? Like, that's what Terrans like to do. They like to push out on the map, and you try and slow them down as the process.
Now, what's scary here is the lack of scouting. So Cure, he skipped his SCV scout, he skipped his Reaper, so Cure, he doesn't know what's coming his way. The reason why there's no bunker is because Cure is playing blind.
So Zoun did this earlier in the season against one of the Terran players that he played against. I think it was Gumiho, I can't remember exactly, but he did go for this, and it was very strange because it didn't seem like it really did anything. And again, I'll point out that he's doing it in a way that makes it look like this is just a single Adept over for now, but then he reveals the second one, split firing those shots absolutely perfectly, and then moves the weak Adept out. That was unbelievably perfect control by Zoun on that initial opener. And now this is going to be so awkward because you can't really get down this ramp reasonably, and then there's going to be, assuming, Stalkers coming and reinforcing this. Yes,
yeah, there should be reinforcements on the way for Zoun to take control of the natural.
So it's going to be very difficult to actually get down here. A Cyclone is going to have to be made to be able to defend against this. And this is doing much better than it did last time he showed this, because last time there was...
So here, zero mining. Zero mining for Cure. He has zero economy at the natural, even just chipping away at the depot wall. Oh, shades into the main. Gets a full scout.
He's more susceptible to these kind of things. Right now, he can't make SCVs from the natural because they'll just die, obviously. But once this Cyclone comes out, he should be able to push this back. Already started up the SCV now because he knows the Cyclone is finishing. But this is already some nice damage here for Zoun, like a very nice early game.
Yeah, no, this is delaying Cure completely. He just cannot mine from this natural.
Okay, now he has to respect the Cyclone.
Once the Cyclone comes out, then you have full rain to go down, but Zoun is going to try to overstay this and actually kill the Cyclone.
Lose everything.
I mean, he will, but trading all of those units for that is, that doesn't really feel correct, in my opinion. I feel like suiciding the Adepts, I think, would have been an okay play.
Right.
Going full on with the Stalkers was a little bit much.
As they're getting into, that was a big loss for Zoun. Remember, his opener was to build up that early gateway army and to build up over time. Losing those first two Stalkers is huge. On top of that, we can see Zoun's out of position.
The Stalkers going through the middle of the map, don't see it.
He's out of position.
Only two at home right now, so he's got to control his Stalkers really well here. Try to pick off the Marines before they get healed. They do get to the middle line, going to start to pick off these probes. Okay, he gets two. It's not bad. He does get out with all his with his medevac intact. These Stalkers were coming back, so I like that decision. But you got to go back to the Zoun, right? If he'd just retreated after he got all that damage done, he would be in an amazing spot right now. But as it stands, Cura's back in this game.
Yeah, the two probe kills is actually kind of significant at this point, considering how low the probe count is. You do have to cut a little bit to be able to do this build. I haven't studied it perfectly because, again, it's a totally new random build that Zoun is doing, but I believe you do need to cut some probes to be able to get this out. So to lose just even a few here is not what you want, considering you're going into this game assuming you're going to have full tempo control by going for that early aggression. You're not expecting to suddenly have a couple probes being killed off here and there.
Right, he does have the third.
I'm sure Gemini has seen 2-gate openers like this before.
The probe count, and it's actually going to be Charge coming out here, and I think the robot's finished as well. We're going to have an Observer come out.
Fine. So but getting into this, it is going to be Cure going for a bio follow-up, not mech this time, so we have extra Raxes on the way.
The mech play we've been seeing recently, like maybe you want to get ready for that. Maybe you want to get your Immortals out from the robot.
Maybe there's something to it that I'm missing when it comes to why Zoun's 2-gate opener would be more unique than just a 2-gate opener.
These Stalkers at the front right now, just going to try and see when the Terran does move out. One Marine over here scouts the third base. That's good to know. You do want to know the timing on that, but we'll get cleared up by this Zealot. And now we're going to see what Cure wants to go for. He's got Stim on the way, 2 more orders at a time coming out. He's going to have a lot of map presence here soon.
Yeah, this is just kind of getting rounded out here from Zoun, of course, getting the blink immediately with his Twilight to be able to, have full mobility and map control, and then going into the charge, and then he's going to be favoring that fast Storm play, which has become so popular in the recent months here. Looks like the Observer will be pushed away just a little bit by that Raven. Doesn't want to go too deep and lose it. Would be, of course.
Here we're waiting to see if Cure throws down extra Raxes or third CC.
As well is actually quite interesting.
We have the answer, third CC. So Cure, he's not going for an all-in. He's slowly building up into a third base. Meanwhile, Zoun likewise will be able to get into Storm. There's no kind of major timing to break him.
He's actually able to get that in time because I feel like the Prism, it'll be getting there basically like within seconds of this push actually getting across the map. It'll be very close.
Yeah, we do have +1 attack on the way as well for Cure, so this attack is going to hit very hard.
Well in the Raven.
Nice marker there, pulls back the Stalkers, doesn't lose any. And I always get a bit nervous when the
Raven!
The Raven's at the front, attack mood, but he doesn't go down. Okay, that's very fortunate for Cure. You do not want to lose that expensive unit. And here comes the push now. We have 2 tanks there. We have
that was almost disastrous.
Combat shields is not on the way.
Storm is done in a couple of seconds.
Concussive shells as well. Okay, he sees it. He knows what's coming, but does he have enough to defend here?
Yeah, Storm is very close to finishing. It's going to finish just in time for this push. How many Templar does he have? He's actually kept the Prism home as well.
Cure's quite dedicated to this.
And potentially get a dive. What was that? Blink forward. Possibly a misclick because that is not what you want your Stalkers to be doing. Forced to use 1 Storm already on just a few bio units on the ramp. Not what you want so far from Zoun.
I mean, the blink forward wasn't punished. Like, he got the Raven. That was solid.
It's very difficult
that was fine.
to get a nice round. You can see Zoun's even moving his army on the minimap fully around to try and get some sort of engagement that would actually be favorable.
That was fine, but we're just banking up those Storms, getting ready for this round.
Get his Templar in position, and now he's going to go for it, but the Prism getting killed by a Widowmine and the Marines. 0 Storms going off, and Cure with an immaculate push.
That's game.
This is insane. The Prism going down is basically might just be the end of the game. You need those Storms
that
to be
is
able
the
to
end.
hold this
That's
push.
it.
The flank was a nice idea, but the Siege Tank's so oppressive on that high ground there. The Bio stims in. Only a few units warp in here.
One
this is
Storm.
Not enough, basically.
Remember, he had 3 High Templar with 4 Storms because he had an energy overcharge as well. GG.
GG gets called. We are all even. 1-1 right now.
That was so clutch on the Prism snipe.
Yeah,
that was so perfect.
That was so unfortunate. The Widowmine shot was obviously, I mean, the Widowmine positioning was brutal there as well. Zoun did not see it coming. It was too late, baby. He face checked with the Prism.
Yeah, Zoun had no idea that was there. It was honestly just a little bit too late. But it's actually very critical as well, though, that Cure, along with the Widowmine, picks at least a couple Marines to focus fire down the Prism as well, because 1 Widowmine does not kill a Prism. So the fact that he
GG well played with that. We're getting into our next game. We have a back and forth. Cure does take the second game here, and we have a series ahead of us. Let's go, baby. Let's go. It's also going to touch on something, but we have Niels in the chat.
They just do so much damage, obviously, if you get a good one off on the Bio army.
That was brutal. 4 Storms. 4 Storms, 3 High Templar in the Prism.
So it's really difficult to actually move units out. So that's why we saw him send the flank around. Obviously, you want to flank the Terran army anyway. But it was really hard for him to kind of get his units into position. And I feel like he was managing everything. And that's why he sent the Warp Prism in and maybe didn't pay enough attention to it. It goes down with it, all the High Templar and Zoun's chance at taking that game.
Yes, a bit brutal for him, but it is a one.
And it looks like we're going to be going on a break. Also, once again, I should emphasize as well.
Everything is sick. Oh, joining our Patreon. Come on, guys.
For those who didn't notice, a lot of these matches for the upper bracket have been via replays. Reign versus Shin, Trigger versus Beyond yesterday, those were via replays, if you recall. And once again, these are also, I believe these are also replay matches as well. Which is kind of weird. Because that's why we don't get, sorry, I should emphasize why that matters. Why that matters is that we're not getting vetoes. They're not showing us the map order because they don't know the map order because they're not doing vetoes live. And also we don't get player cams, which is a bit of a shame. Previously, the reason why they were playing via replays and casting via replays is because this event was clashing with Maestros and was clashing with Chijik. There's a Chijik tournament going on right now. Is it still going on? Are they playing in that? Hold on, let's see. Let's have a look. Chijik. Who's playing? Cure. Yeah, they're playing tonight. That's unfortunate. So for those who are curious, there's a StarCraft Evolution tournament going on right now in Korea. I'll give you a link in the chat. And Kira is playing in that tournament. He's playing after Solar versus Lambo in a couple, or after that series finishes. So because Kira's playing in that, that's why he couldn't play this event live. So yeah, I was curious. I mean, there's just been so much StarCraft going on. Like this, RSL, my assist of the game. There's a lot of matches going on at the moment. So it's all overlapping. So it's so sad, but everything's overlapping. So yeah, it looks like they're opting to play out the Chijik event live, of course. So yeah, just as a heads up. Just as a heads up. Which makes sense, just because the prize pool is massive for the Chijik event. But we're going to be going on a break. And when we come back, we'll have a next series. We'll see you soon. Sorry, we'll have the remainder of the series, the second half. We'll see you soon after the break. And we're back. We are back here with the RSL, the Rival StarCraft League Season 2 Playoffs Day number 4. We are mid-series. We're currently mid-series here with Cure versus Zoun. So far, we've had a bit of a back and forth here. We do have a tied 1-1 scoreline at the moment, and we'll see if that continues. Or I should say, we'll see who is able to take a lead in the series as we get into our next game. So far, we haven't really seen too much. We saw attempted mech play out of a Cure in Game 1, and he got punished mid-transition by 4 Gapling Stalker, was killed. Game 2, we saw Cure. He was delayed a little bit when it came to the 2-gate opener, but he was able to just snowball out of control, push across the map, and had a very, very crucial moment where he sniped 3 High Templar. There were 3 Templar, 4 Storms, and a Warp Prism. It all went down instantly. GG. GG well played, as Zoun was not able to stop and deny the push. So far, really fast games, to be honest. So far, we have yet to really embrace any kind of mid-game play, hoping that that changes moving forward, depending on the maps. We'll see.
Pretty reasonable map name, I can say that. I don't know what it means, but I can say it.
Oh, you don't want to know what it means?
Why? What's the law?
Sorry, I'm not. I'm actually not doing
Okay,
I'll tell you later.
Let's not go there. Anyway, this
It
is game number
is named
3.
Magnath is a person in the community. He's an Egyptian.
That's
captain,
Magnath.
but there's more to it that you don't.
The law.
I'll tell you later.
The scrolls.
Anyways,
Magnath. I've heard he loves Jagannatha. He loves Jagannatha so much, and Hyper One attributed this map to him. Kappa.
Be a eBay block, looks like it. Not actually going to be going for any. Actually, it could be a proxied second Rax. That actually could be kind of a possibility, but I feel like it's just going to be an eBay block. I think they are actually still pretty good. Oh, is it the second proxy Rax? Am I so smart? Or is he just
you are so smart, Gemini. No,
it's
it's an eBay block. This is nice though. Throw off the Protoss, get them off their rhythm. You got to get it down in time though. Okay, he does. Oh yeah, doesn't have the minerals yet, of course.
He loved it so much. He got his own. Yes, so much.
Brought his probe down already. 3 more going to come down. Start to chip away at this eBay.
So nice scout by Zoun. He sees the eBay block early, so he can pull the boys and deny it.
This is just a little bit annoying to deal with, but nothing too unexpected. You know, he'll have a planned response for this. He'll know all the follow-ups. Just got to cancel this at the last second. Who was it the other day that didn't cancel? I think it was Classic, didn't cancel a pylon or something in a PvP. And I was like, oh! But he does cancel this one just in time. Going to be going into his Nexus here. On the back of this, we have a factory. And yeah, pretty normal follow-ups here.
Yeah, the eBay block, it's sometimes very annoying. It's
still find it crazy that something named for me made it to the ladder.
Right
True.
Nexus or even a Nexus after Cybercore.
Faster Factory.
Then you're going to be seeing that eBay very late. Zoun, though, sending one of his probes a little bit earlier just to anticipate that potential. And if you do see it when it basically comes right down, then that allows you to go for the probe response, which is what Zoun did. He pulls 4 probes, and that can kill it off in a decent amount of time, and where it's really just kind of just an even split. Like, you lose a little. Sorry, excuse me. You lose a little bit of income, but of course the Terran player loses some because they have to cancel the building. So it basically ends up being completely even.
Yeah, you don't want to let that eBay get to too high HP, right? And then it becomes like a whole task to take it down. Really good response from Zoun. You couldn't have been any quicker. Basically, perfect timing on that probe. That's nice to see. It's actually going to be a Hellion build this game, Gemini. And on the side of Zoun, we have a Sentry.
Okay, so it's going to be reactor to Hellion. We'll see if we commit into an extra pair of Hellions as well. This can lead into Hellion drop play. So we'll see what Kieran can get done as he moves out. Oh, he makes another pair. Let's go. Extra Hellions.
Will actually cross paths with the Hellions.
Now remember, 3 Hellions, 1 shot a worker. So 4 Hellions going to be more than enough. And again, once the stopper is done, we can start to invest into drop play.
Because the way that the movement is, they just kind of dodge each other if you just send the Hallucinated Phoenix right across. But looks like Zoun is just going to be able to see everything anyways. Doesn't quite see that oh, he does see 1 Hellion pop out. So he does know that it's going to be Hellion. So didn't see those on the map, but does see that one, which is going to give him all the information he could need. Should be prepared back at home to deal with this. We'll see if the wall is going to be set up once we get a shot over
on the way.
There's something in the wall there with a couple units waiting in position as well with the Sentry. So yeah, he should be able to be perfectly fine against this.
Yeah, if you see that reactor on the factory and a Hellion, that's basically all you need to know, right? It's not the Reaper Hellion aggression.
We have 2 more gates on the way, so it's going to be 3-gate blink this time.
There is a medevac coming out, so he'll have the potential to drop those in the main. As you said, Zoun does have that nice wall at the front, which he can completely plug with a unit. In that case, you do need a way to be able to get into the main. And it's going to be a Banshee with Cloak follow-up here. So Cure really looking to be aggressive here in game number 3.
Yeah, this is a very interesting build. You don't normally actually see this from Terran players, going for a 4 Hellion opener into a Hellion drop into Cloak Banshees. That's a lot of aggression very quickly. The Scout's going to come out for Zoun on the Cloak Banshee, but I do not think he's at all prepared for a drop. With
He does have Stalkers ready in the main. He's anticipating drop play into the main base, but not into the natural.
Or something like that, heading much earlier. This one comes at a very awkward timing, but very nice reaction and excellent force field as well to block on that wall. That's absolutely wonderful.
One Hellion gets
away, losing a Hellion even on the back end. That was a clinical defense from Zoun.
Yeah, very interesting choice to drop the natural. Like normally you think, oh,
yeah,
if the units are there, you want to drop in the main. But there might be units in the main. He does choose to drop in
there were Stalkers in the main.
Beautiful response from Zoun, though, running all... Dude, I'm so scared to run the probes like that, where they all bunch up. Because you can just lose the game, right? But the
and remember, behind this, I believe Zoun did see the research on the tech lab, so he's aware of the Cloak Banshee.
Yeah, that was literally perfect from him.
And hey, we're going back into mech. That's a second factory. We're making it up. And this time there's no 4-gate blink to punish Cure. This time it's 3-gate blink into a third base, so Cure is safe to embrace mech.
Switch as well. So your question has been answered. It has been fulfilled.
Mech
we will be
happen.
getting mech, yeah. Meching it happen.
Making it happen, boys. Love to see it. It's nice to see some kind of mix-ups, right? I think we all love Bio, and you'd probably like to watch Bio most games, but it's nice to see a change here. And I think the Terran players have been making this style look really strong. Obviously, the Cyclone, very good these days. He does have a Raven coming out as well. That's going to be useful. On the back of this, Zoun will have what he needs to deal with this. He's getting his charge.
So far, this is the second game so far in the series where we have mech. Do we get a third game with mech? Maybe. What's important here as well is that typically when you go into mech like this, you go for a faster third CC, but Cure is actually going for a 3, I think that might even be a 4th factory setup. He's going for a very heavy factory setup first before expanding.
He has a pylon there by the 3rd. He may see the shimmer if he's paying attention.
Yeah, I think he'll be pretty well prepared anyways. He does have an observer with those stalkers in the natural anyways, so those should be totally fine. Yeah, he sees it anyways. He knows what's coming. We'll be totally prepared for that. And he's got the stuff in the main base as well, so he's going to be prepared if that goes in at the same time. Doesn't even look like it's going to at this point, but yeah, realizing it's not going to probably do anything, yeah, Cure is just really forced away. This is just, again, perfect defense from Zoun. You generally want to try to get something done as a Terran player, but since Cure's going for mech anyways, and I don't know if it was scouted actually yet by Zoun, but I think he's got the right stuff to be able to deal with it anyways.
Actually able to get in the main here and get a full
So what's important here is that I do favor Zoun's position just because Cure could have gotten a faster third CC, but because what happened in game 1, it looks like Cure was almost scarred, like he was scared about a counterattack, so Cure decided to play safe instead. So that's a much later third base out of Cure, which means Zoun can enjoy a greater economy for a little bit longer.
Tank a ton of the siege shots if there are siege tanks. Right now it's more kind of Cyclone heavy, Cyclone Hellion heavy. We do have the Robo as well, so we're going to need to see some Immortals coming out here soon. Right now, though, Cure is being aggressive. The Banshee's putting out a lot of damage onto that Stalker. It will just survive, and now Zoun knows. For sure.
Yes, interestingly enough, almost nothing has died this game, despite all the little pokes and prods, so very clean game so far. No losses either way, and yeah, you can see now a couple Archons getting morphed there from Zoun, making the realization that it is going to be mech, just keeping 2 of those Templars.
So basically, as soon as Zoun realized that it's mech, he's pushing, and his goal is to break. But remember what we said earlier, Cure, he delayed his third in favor of extra factories. Cure actually has a pretty massive army here. I don't think Zoun can break him, or it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult for him to break him. Let's see if he can.
Getting a couple more Zealots, couple more
It's all or nothing with Zoun. He's committing.
His army supply is going to be quite high. I love this random eBay in the front to help choke up any of the Zealots and force them to attack that instead of the units. Here we go. Let's see if he can actually bust in.
The pre-split here on this Terran army is insane. The storms will,
take a lapse in.
Will be hard to get down.
Nice storms.
The storm does go down. All these cyclones here. Zoun is
my God,
in.
very nice storms.
Massive storm there on all the hellbats.
He breaks through.
These Banshees will fall. Zoun looks like he might be making this happen here. The SCVs are pulled. Tons of units going down. Zoun in a fantastic position right now. Those Archons need to possibly join up with the rest of the army and get some shots up. There's so much damage. 23 SCVs go down, and a beautiful timing here from Zoun in game number 3.
Yeah, that was, again, just super clinical. Zoun, despite maybe scouting it a little bit later than maybe he would normally want, just still making the perfectly correct decision upon realizing what it is. Says, okay, I've taken no damage this game. Nothing's really happened at all.
Right.
Sure, I've gone for Storm, but if I just only make 2 Templars worth and then the rest are Archons and just keep going into all my Zealots, which I've already prepared anyways with all of my Gateways, I can still have a timing here. Realizes that, goes for the push, just perfect execution on it. The Storm's coming in with the Prism to get key storms onto the big juicy Hellbat Cyclone part of the army as well. You don't really want to waste the storms on the tanks, obviously, because they're going to be soaking up that damage much more, and they're not going to be clumped
So
together
when it comes to that game, I think what
Cyclones and
is
Hellions-
scary to me here, one, that was a really clean game. I think that was the cleanest game from Zoun so far. It was impressive, very impressive. What's scary to me is that Cure, he kind of got away with his build, right? It's like he went for, I mean, I say got away with his build. He opted to go for a later third base. He was building up a larger army. I think he probably had the best setup he could have had against a move out like that. It was a later scout from Zoun, a later reaction, but he still, as soon as he realized what was happening, he went for the kill. And despite the amount of army that Cure had, it still wasn't enough. It still was not enough anyway. That doesn't bode well for Cure moving forward, trying to play mech. Zoun, he's been looking really decisive in his builds, really decisive in his play, and clearly if he sees you trying to go into mech, he will punish. I mean, the same thing happened in game 1. Different build, but the same thing in the sense that Zoun, once he realized that mech was on the way, Zoun, he committed with 4 Gatling Stalker.
You can get to the kind of, you know, the mass that's just too strong to kill, right?
Yep. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people might watch that game and be like, God, Protoss is busted. But then, like, honestly, the defense that he had against the Hellions, against the dropped Hellions, against the Banshees, that's actually harder than it looks. Like, it's not easy to just let that have 0 impact on your economy whatsoever. So yeah, just to lose absolutely
welcome to
that
Botanical.
was brilliant from Zoun and really just skyrocketed him.
I also just realized that it's only AVEX
very
maps
nicely
that
done
are
by him again. We're
that
gonna be
they're
on
being
map
played on.
number 4 here,
Botanical
which is
and
Botanical, one of our
Center
newer
Bath.
maps voted in by the patrons.
Center
So yeah, I would love to see how this map plays out a little bit too. This one honestly looks pretty interesting. I just like the look of this map actually. It's
So
like
many
a very
trees, so
beautiful-
much foliage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
botanical, you know?
Botanical, yeah. It's a nice kind of gardeny map. It's nice to mix up the scenery here. See these little trees and bushes outside the natural. No shenanigans coming out here. No eBay block or anything like that.
Well, the CC first actually.
Yeah, the CC first.
Ooh.
That is not something we normally see here
Let's
from
go.
Terran players. So yeah.
Sorry, I was just looking at the map. I was trying to piece it together. This is one of the maps that I've not gotten to yet when it comes to TLMT21.
Yes, I see what you did there. Okay, Gemini.
What?
His name's Cure. He's curious.
I didn't even notice I did that.
The unintentional pun.
I wish
pun
I was that smart.
unintended, guys.
I wish I was that funny. Jesus.
Well, unintentionally you were, but yeah, CC first. I mean, if you get away with it, it's amazing for your economy, right? Zoun has been aggressive with the Adept and stuff. This makes, one thing about this is you're not going to get your CC cancelled, right? An Adept can't get there fast enough to actually kill that.
You have to be really bad to let that CC get cancelled by a probe.
You make it like a minute late. The Adept finally comes over and kills it. But yeah, he is going to go for a bunker here. Your units are a little bit delayed with the CC first, obviously. This adds a little bit more of a safety net, so you don't take damage early. It is still going to
Well,
be
the tech is going to be delayed here. So later racks, later factory, later starport, out of Cure. When it comes to Botanical, it seems like a pretty large map, longer rush distance by ground. The bases are very spread out though. From what I can tell, there are very wide entrances towards the 3rd and 4th.
CC first build in TVP. Since you're so low,
So it looks like a difficult map to
kind
kind of secure yourself in a 3, 4, 5 base setup.
2 or 3 racks right afterwards, because you just need as many units as possible. Because if the Protoss just ramps up the aggression, you simply don't have enough. So the fact that he's going straight into a factory with a reactor on the barracks after only a single Marine as well, like, this is so greedy from Cure, I feel like. And I'm very curious what actually he goes for with this style, because obviously, you know, you just have so few units at this point.
Second racks.
I feel like
2 on 1.
probably just going to try to go for some kind of blink pressure. I'm not quite sure how. I feel like the clip on this map is not too bad. Actually, maybe it's a little too small to do any crazy 4-gate blink stuff, but Yeah, I feel like Zoun is going to look at this and just try to go for some blink aggression.
Yeah, there's no major entrance into the main base to allow for Mass Blink Stalker, but this looks like a 2-on-1 variation. We'll see if we go for an add-on swap, and we'll see if we go into early stim. Again, it is not unheard of to go into a 2-on-1 in TVP, so we'll keep an eye on that tech
We'll
lab.
have to see how he's going to be able to deal with this aggression. How many gateways did we have here so far?
Tech lab's on the way.
We got a couple electric and
2.
Okay, he's adding on one more
third.
now. Yeah, that's the third one. The Robo as well, just to get that Observer out, get the Warp Prism. And yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. Medevac coming out here. We don't have any Widow Mines or anything
Rushing
like
into
that.
Stim. 2-on-1.
Just a Cyclone at the moment.
Crazy.
And Stim is on the way.
Yeah, it looks like Zoun's actually going to go for the straight to storm style. He's going for the double gas very quickly at the natural, so he's not going to be going.
So just to emphasize what's happening here, he's going for a really early stim timing, earlier than normal. Like typically you delay stim in favor of what? In favor of tanks, right? Like tanks, they play a pretty big role defensively in early game TVP. Here we're delaying tanks, we're rushing into stim, and we can get ready here for an earlier stim timing, for an earlier stim push.
Try to break them. Or you go super greed and you just kind of sit back and just get as much tech as possible. The fact that he's gone for 3 gateways still, despite all this, is a little bit interesting. I guess the third base is quicker with this. Normally you don't get the third this fast with the Templar opener, so maybe that's the little corner that he's trying to cut here. Nice little scan to get the Observers. Nice. Just picks up the Cyclone. We'll be able to kill that. Focus Fire on the Sentry could be pretty good too. Some decent trades overall, and then he can just kind of boost out. Oh, if he just loses the prison or the medevac, that'd be terrible. Okay, luckily he gets out.
Yeah, Blink is done. You got to be so careful. You do not want to lose this medevac. Stim is about 3/4 done here. This medevac's just going to hang out in the dead airspace. And Curio's adding on more racks here. He's not getting a third base or anything like that just yet. I feel like he's going to hit an insanely strong time in here.
I believe Curio's getting him to a 5-rack setup. Remember, stim is done early, which means combat shields is also going to be done early as well.
I mean, whenever you go for Storm for in these styles, it happens so quick. Like, it's actually so hard to get there before it is even finished. So I'm curious. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if he actually will, because I don't think he just has the units right now. Like Stim, sure, will be finishing, but he doesn't really have anything.
2-base all in. We're throwing down extra Raxes.
Like I was saying,
so even more Raxes on the way. We're getting ready for a 2-base all in. Hyper committed here from Cure. He's going for tank production as well. Alongside this, he's going to have what, 3 tanks with the push.
Yes, but it's like
it's going to hit very hard.
6 Marines, and that's basically all. That's your thing.
Yeah, right. It is going to be after the storm here. So, okay, it is what it is. The tanks are coming out though. Combat shields is on the way as well. I like.
Okay, we explosion of the sound.
Third base here for Cure, so he's going to be super aggressive here when he does get the amount of units that he needs. This medevac just flying in and out, being annoying. See if he can pick off any probes. Okay, that's nice little damage there. 3 probes, maybe in a 4th for 2 Marines.
Here it comes, you pull the boys.
Any day, and he's pulling the boys!
This is not what I was expecting. I mean, you go CC first into a
pull, the entire build led into a 2-base all in. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Wait, we knew this was coming. Remember, it was a 2-on-1 to begin with, early stim. This hits with combat shields.
He knows that this is a storm opener. First one going down on the SCV is a decent pre-split, but there's no combat shield on these Marines either, so take note of that.
Combat shields is done in a couple of seconds.
Singular medevac here.
Ooh, the tanks is burst!
Into double tank will kill one of them.
This is one.
A nice move from Zoun.
Yeah, there's so many SCVs here. They're actually going to go and fight the probes. Worker versus worker action here at the third base. Oh, the Mineral Walker's sick.
The surround,
Gonna get
let's go.
Surround on these probes. This is so good. Meanwhile, the Blink does
the
come
tank's
in on
punished.
these tanks. I don't feel like he has... Okay, with the
Oh
storm,
my God, the
that's such
storm's
a big
crazy.
storm on the Marines.
Oh God, the
Zoun
storm.
jumping in here, going to pick off what he can. The second tank goes
He
down.
stands in the
Zoun,
storms,
you're gonna get a cleanup here. The SCVs are nowhere to be seen right now.
I mean,
they're
they're
still
all
fighting.
Zoun holds. He holds. He's got his immortal.
Oh, they're still alive. He really needed those in the fight.
Yeah, that's actually wild. He just sent them over to the third. It was like, go ahead, guys, try your best. And then he just didn't have them for the attack. He also didn't have that medevac with the Cyclone and a few extra Marines either. This is just flat on arrival. I mean, Cure, I don't know exactly what he was trying to go for here, knowing it was going to be a storm opener. And the fact that all of the SCVs were off doing their own thing, I don't know. This just really did not work for Cure whatsoever.
So they're questioning the build choice. I think the build choice was perfectly fine. Unfortunately, it was the execution. Unfortunately, the SCVs not being there to buffer. Unfortunately, not having the reinforcing medevac either. The first tank being exposed. Remember, the first tank going down was a brutal start as well. Your tanks are so crucial as they're the backbone to your army. So yeah, I do actually like the build of choice from Cure. I do think that he could have broken through, but again, the execution of the build was lackluster. GG.
Too much of a good position here. Cure forced to GG.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to try to go for a second try a little bit later because he did kind of keep some SCVs alive. He didn't have like 0 at home. He had
just
like
under
30 or so.
right? But once you send all those SCVs,
I mean, like,
if you don't get the damage you need, you're kind of cooked, right?
yeah, no, I just felt it just looked like, yeah, he was like, oh, I'm going to do the Terran thing where I have mules and 30 SCVs. Like, I can technically go for round 2. But yeah, I think you're realizing like 20 seconds later is like, screw this.
He could have just pulled the last 30 SCVs and tried it again, but yeah, Cure's economy was nowhere near as good as Zoun's, obviously, after the failed attack. Zoun defends and is now up 2-1 in this series.
He's up in the series.
It is 2-1, right?
Zoun is up at 2-1.
No, it's 3-1.
Is it 3-1?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's 3-1.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
sorry.
so was I. Sorry, I said 2-1
score.
and I was like, no, wait, Zoun won the last game. Yeah, so we are here 3-1. The first set of the day does go to Zoun. What a strong performance by him.
Yeah, no,
GG, well played. Sorry, I actually had it misplaced in my own score line. I had Cure winning the last game. My apologies. But GG, well played. Zoun does claim the series at 3-1, and Zoun he does advance on into the next round. Congratulations. Honestly, really fast games. I was hoping for a bit of a longer. I was hoping to get some mid game. I was going to get some mid game here between the two players, but that just didn't happen. No mid game whatsoever. So just really fast games, really decisive builds, and with that, Cure taps out. He gets knocked down to low ground or to the lower bracket, and Zoun will claim the series. From here, we're going to be getting ready for our final series of this broadcast. Up next is going to be a TVP between Maru and Classic. Oh boy, it's going to be a banger of a Terran versus Protoss. Again, Classic coming in as the runner-up of EWC, coming in as the best Protoss player in the world. Maru has been having a harder time this year, especially in TVP. Maru has been playing a lot of mech, a lot of all-ins. I do not expect to see mid-game between these two players. Not at all, unless Maru can elongate the game with mech. Can he get there, though? We'll see. I feel like mech is going to be a big part of this series, but the pressure is on, and it comes down to our two players. We'll be back after the break. So going to be going on a short break. When we come back, Maru and Classic going to be coming at you, Pat. Let's go.
Work, school, all your stuff, taking care of kids, whatever's going on.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the bracket semifinals, bracket semis here of the RSL Rival StarCraft League. We just wrapped up with our first series, just wrapped up with Cure versus Zoun. Zoun took down Cure 3-1 in a very fast series. To be honest, really fast series, really short games. Now up next, we do have another Terran versus Protoss, Maru versus Classic. Now I'm hoping that we can sink our teeth into these two players, into these 5 games a little bit further here, but again, we'll see. We'll see how our players will approach this. As I mentioned before, Maru has been very predictable in his play as of late over the past year of StarCraft. We've been seeing a lot of either 2-base all-ins or a lot of mech out of Maru. He's one of the many players that has been embracing mech in recent times in TVP. We'll see if that trend continues here as well. We'll see.
Classic has leveled up so much recently, and with the changes in the meta, I think he looks super strong right now. Like you said, he did lose tomorrow at Dallas DreamHack. He did lose in the GSL this year. But I think he's kind of reinvented his game this year, and I think he's going to have a really good shot in this series. I don't think the games are going to look similar to the first series of the day. I think we'll see some longer games. Hopefully we'll see some longer games. I think Cure managed to get a 3rd CC in just one of those games, and then it promptly died right afterwards to a time-in. So I'm hoping to see some more macro, some different styles coming out of here. We know how Classic likes to play. He likes to get Storm and sit back and let the Terran come to him and just get that insane economy. That's the style he's known for. We'll have to see if that is going to be on the cards here as we load into map number 1 on Ultra Love.
Yeah, Classic really does love to go.
And that's up right in corner. We have Maru for Team Vitality. In the bottom left, we have Classic for Virtus Pro. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat, as it is Gamba time. Gamba time, papi, Gamba time. So these results are just semi-final. Oh, ahí está. Shaking my head. Shaking my head. But here we go. Here we go. We're jumping into our fresh best of 3. Double gas opener out of Maru.
Try to just all-in Classic as well. So that's always a possibility here. So we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like we know how Classic's going to play this series. But Maru, on the other hand, is a complete wildcard, right? Like, he can do really aggressive games. He can play the late game like no one else. Like, he can kind of play a variety of styles.
So once again, coming into this, I do expect Maru to either all-in or play mech, because that's all he's been doing. If he plays standard at any moment, I'd be very surprised. Be very surprised. But we're here for it. Let's go. Again, double gas, faster factory, faster tech out of Maru.
Dude, I'm getting excited for this series. These players are both so good, man.
Yes, it's really cool to see Maru even just playing. Of course, he was absent in the first season, so to have him actually here playing in season number 2 is great to see. He's a favorite, of course, to win the whole thing, but of course, Classic. This is essentially, this could be like the finals, man.
This could be grand finals right now, guys. But it's not.
It's not.
It could be, though.
Maybe later.
In my mind, this is grand finals.
Perhaps
whoever
next
wins
week
this takes it all.
Let's rip out the trophy right now. Let's do it. No, end it right here. Stop the count.
Stop the
Whoever
seal.
wins this is the winner of season 2.
Yeah, there is that lower bracket, of course. So whoever loses here will move to the lower bracket and have another chance to fight. But being in grands on the winner's side gives you a huge advantage here in our new format.
True.
You do have to win 2 series in a row as the loser. I believe it's a best of 7 followed by a best of 3. So that's obviously way more difficult than winning just the 1 series, which is your prize for getting to grand.
So we're going for the high ground CC from the side of Maru. Meanwhile, we do have our Twilight Council from Classic. So standard open out of Classic is what we're expecting, right? We're expecting standard play out of our Protoss player. It's more on Maru to mix things up, and I'm sure he will.
As a Reaper in the early game TVP, it feels like
oh, he has a base. Okay, cool.
Well, dang, I should have expected that. Damn, why did I make this unit?
Unless it's Clem's Reaper and then it kills like 3 probes somehow. But yeah, the CC actually being made on the high ground here.
Yeah, it looks like he went for, I wasn't paying close enough attention. I was joking with Sturgeon over here, but I think it looks like it was a
Classic's also playing in the Chijik event. Yeah.
Sorry, a 1-base wall off. So then you go for the CC on the high ground as well. Just to
so both Classic and Cure, they're playing in a different tournament at the moment. That's why for both of these series, no player cams, and no vetoes are shown.
Medevac coming across as well. Just at a slightly different timing, going for the double gas opener itself. So We'll
the
see if
Chijik.
Classics prepare for this. Generally, Protosses are.
For those who don't know, Chijik is another
I
streaming
can't even
platform.
think
It's a
of the
Korean
last
streaming
time I
platform.
saw a
So think like
Chijik
Afrika TV, but a competitor to Afrika TV
One of these, like,
Not with the
just like a-
first drop.
is
yeah, like,
Chijik.
it's been
And they've been
so
hosting
long,
a lot of their
Protosses
own
are
tournaments.
So good at dealing with this now. It just
in
really seems like
StarCraft
it never does
Evolution.
anything in any
And in
game
StarCraft
except
2 as
my
well.
own.
You poor pros players having to deal with a Widowmine drop every single
To like
game
bring
for
viewership
4
to their
minutes.
platform, to bring attention to
But
their
that is the
platform.
meta, that is the world
They've been
we live in,
sponsoring
guys.
events.
The Medak flying in. He's actually bringing Marines as well over here. There is one sentry in a Stalker. Oh, he's going to try and target it down.
Does get it.
Wow, he goes for it. Humongous.
Very clutch.
Courage on the
Is that what you're going for? Is that what was in your brain,
that's what I
Steve?
want to say. Lots of courage from Classic being
No.
shown there. Gonna
No.
actually target down that Widowmine with the probes. Only
Classic,
two going
his
down.
courage is so big.
I couldn't think of a different word. I was like, oh,
It's
what else?
huge.
Courage, yeah, very courageous there.
Oh yes, definitely so much courage there from Classic for sure. I wonder where he
Terrible
got the courage, where it's
personality.
stemming from. But yeah,
We'll
the-
never know.
The
Fine.
fact that he pulled that was actually crazy, like going for the surround with probes.
Behind this, we have a Cloak Banshee follow-up. Tank production has begun. We're not going for any kind of earlier sim timing, but he is going for early tanks. Ooh, as the Reaper gets caught.
From the Protoss on the Widowmine drop, no damage really to be
Third
seen from
CC.
that. And the Medevac
Now,
just
seeing
heading
Cloak,
back
seeing a
home,
third
so
CC this quickly, this screams mech to me. This screams second and third factory.
coming out.
So remember what we said at the start of the series. We expect either 2-base all-in or mech out of Maru. And this is leaning more towards mech. But we'll get confirmation with the next production building.
Interesting style. It's not something that we normally see anymore. A bit old, but yeah, let's see how it does.
Yeah, this Banshee going to come in here. Does get two probes. Meanwhile, the Stalkers and Observer there, ready to greet it, and it will
God.
not go down.
it goes
I thought it was out.
I thought so too. Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, Stalker's
that's
got
brutal.
a laser on him, so
Tank-
scoped on in. Just
First Banshee goes down, and no surprise here, factories. Again, if you're out there, if you want to tell, the reason why we knew that factories were on the way was because it was a third CC after the starport with a Cloak Banshee start with tank production as well. You do not get a fast third CC that quickly in a regular bio game.
What? Okay, so yeah, he did. Wait,
What
was
is
it
going
Maru?
on?
Was it Maru? No, it was Bunny. Bunny did this, I think, last in the group stages as well. He went for the mech style with the fast Banshee speed upgrade, and it did nothing.
Right.
It literally didn't do anything. The Banshees kind of like walked in and got killed off really quickly, and then he didn't really make any more. So that was
If you haven't seen mech in TVP before, it is very common to go into speed Banshees, just because you're not going to stop Banshee production, right? So you're going to be starting Banshee production, you're going to not stop, you're going to make as many as you can. The Banshee play is to support the army. Oh! This Medevac gets away. But the Banshees are going to be building up over time. They're going to be used to snipe High Templar, to snipe key units, to harass across the map, to retain them over time, of course, to gain value while you build up your mech army.
First one alive, right? Like
Yeah.
losing that's a little bit of a shame. He will be making more here. They do have tremendous DPS, kind of this glass cannon unit, right? They die pretty easy, but they also dish out tons of damage. And it is going to be mech, as you mentioned, from Maru, getting his tanks, getting his Hellions, he'll be making those into Hellbats. And let's see if he can make this work. I feel like Classic's not the kind of player who's just going to cut probes on 3 bases. He does have the 4th Nexus going down, as we see. But he's not the kind of guy who's going to
They were
see mech
sponsoring the
with
SE
full
Evo
set
events,
like we
so that
saw
would
in the
explain
last
why
series. I feel
it's
like he's got
exclusive.
a
Yeah.
long-term plan to deal with this.
Yeah, you can already see he's got more probes than
They are the main
did.
sponsor. That's why they require exclusivity. That's why, if you remember, when we were casting Elima League, that was also exclusive to streaming on Chijik. Also exclusive.
Coming up as well, like you said. So yeah, not really his style to go for. The triple Banshee gonna be going over to the main base with that Hyperflight Rotors upgrade fully activated at this point.
The speed
We'll
so
see
they
how
survive
much
more?
damage that's
Yes,
able to
the
do.
speed
Not
means that
sure
you
how
build them
much
up over
Classic
time. It means you have
compares
micro
to
potential with them,
Are
and
in the front here to
you
try and
maintain
deny
that
this
high
third
count.
base. This is generally one of the weaknesses of mech, is that it's a little harder to get this 3-base setup since your units are not as mobile.
nice Zealot drop
Warp
there.
Prism also dropping
Maru out of
Zealots
position.
in the back end while the Banshees go in the main.
Oh, Worker's going to be dying on both sides here. The Stalker Warping comes in.
Maru out of
Meanwhile, that
position,
CC is taking a lot of
completely.
damage. Just have to lift, get out, and have the CC, the Workers repair it. The SCV, sorry. A ton of them actually going down, 9 already.
diving on the
damage
tank.
continue to
Oh my
accumulate
God,
on
the
both
tank volley,
sides.
so-
A Medevac just going to get out. This game's suddenly getting wild. The Banshees
so many tanks going down.
I think they've been dealt with for now. They're actually going over to the 4th base, just targeting down the Nexus. And if there's no units to respond, this actually might die. Like, they actually deal pretty decent DPS. Banshees are surprisingly strong, but yeah, Maru realizing that he's probably not going to be able to get that. Just wants to make sure they stay alive. A much more conservative, safe play. I do like it from him. Doesn't want to get too crazy, considering he did just
the splash
lose
damage.
a bunch of SCVs, a couple more 2 tank splash as well. That's cute from Classic. I love that.
Yeah, very nice move there. Gets a couple more. Right now, things make
As it settles here, Classic was able to deal a lot of economic damage. He defended against the Banshees, who was able to snipe, was it 2-3 tanks? I want to say around 3 tanks in total did go down, and it's on Classic to keep up with these Banshees. Now again, only 1 Banshee has fallen so far, and it's on Maru to keep these Banshees alive.
So Maru getting all his mech upgrades here. Going to be trying to transition into a strong mid game. I feel like it's come out kind of even. I feel like both players, like maybe Classic would be a little bit happier with how this has gone. I feel like he killed a ton of workers, but making 2 Immortals at a time is exactly what you need against mech. So I like his setup here.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the styles to go for if you're going for the macro approach. We saw some of the other players, like we already mentioned, going for the early bust with just the gateway units and the Archons just to try and kill it nice and quick.
Yeah, I think it's important that Gemini brought that up, is that this is a different reaction from Classic than Zoun had. Zoun's reaction was to just end the game then and there, and to commit with that charge, with that storm timing. Here, Classic is going for a more delayed approach, building up a double upgrades and going into mass immortal.
Or some sort of splash. It's very good to zone those units away because they are so quick. You don't want them just diving you, and you don't want them to, you know, just have free reign. Generally, if they are going very heavy tank compositions, going first fast storm is not the play because, again, storming tanks is not really a thing. You can't really get in range to storm them anyways, but you want to be zoning away all of those.
God, that's so many Banshees.
Oh my God,
Jesus,
look at this squad of Banshees floating in here.
And again, this is why it's so important that he has Hyperflight Rotors, because, again, he's been building up these Banshees over time.
Gonna fly through the main here. What a wild
The flock only gets bigger.
A bunch of workers, depower a bunch of stuff, and even get out without losing a single Banshee. Huge move by Maru here. I feel like this is exactly what he needed to get like ahead in this game, get back in this game, because he's going to be able to take out this base now. Wow. No way Classic can save this. These Banshees are such a menace right now.
Yeah, this is the benefit of having that Hyperflight upgrade on them. And this is something, again, you just don't normally see. And this is not something we saw when Bungie.
This is something you do often see. Like, this is very standard.
Basically shut down really quickly.
That's why we called it earlier. Like, what Maru's doing here is kind of like the classic mech style that we're seeing kind of permeate through the meta in TVP. So if you've been watching players like Maru, Cure, Clem, like, this is kind of like the style that they're playing.
Cancel a 5th base, why not?
Just kill it all.
We didn't see this from Cure last series because Cure died early. Like, Cure, he never got to 3 bases, right? Otherwise, we would have seen this from Cure as well.
Whenever you're hesitant against Cyclones, you're going to lose units to the lock-ons right now. I don't know if you can deal with the Banshees right now. The anti-air, yes, Cyclones, obviously, but they're going to deal with so much DPS. Maru has trying to float over this 4th base. Classic's army is here to meet it. But right now, Maru has a bigger army. If he can get a good engagement, it could go his way. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to save this CC.
Oh, he gets a CC.
Oh, he goes down.
Not bad.
Great pick off for Classic.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
Oh, the Banshees are...
It wasn't able to really get into a nice position with this army, but now he's getting kind of flanked
going for the Immortals
by the Banshees on the bottom, and the rest of the units
Classic getting completely shut down.
Wipe of an army coming out from Maru, just nothing at all.
And again, you can see the Banshees, they can chase down the Immortals as well. I mean, they can just chase everything.
Him to try and go for that CC, because even trying to go into that choke point earlier, his army wasn't suited for it. Sure, he gets a crazy couple storms on this little small ramp, but this army from Maru is just not going to stop, I feel like.
Yeah, though, he's powering through here. So many Protoss units going down. Cyclones can chase them all the way across the map with these lock-ons. Nothing Protoss has can outrange that, obviously, so you're always going to pick off a few. Maru does have another base landing over here, but Classic's army has kind of been completely reset here. He's down to 40 supply. He is getting lots of upgrades. You know, he's got his tech on the way and stuff, but he just doesn't have the units he needs right now.
Yeah, the scary thing here, and why this works so well on maps like Pylon and maps like Ultralove with a short rush distance, is that Maru's about to max. Maru, when he maxes out, he can A-move. He can A-move with a mech army. Like, a maxed out mech army is terrifying, and Maru's almost there.
They actually do so much damage if they just go unaccounted for, and you're not used to seeing this because it's normally just 1 or 2 for some probe harass, and then that's it. Like, they probably die in a push because it's only one of them and you just target it down and nothing happens. But if you have
basically, Classic needs Phoenixes. If you've been watching Classic and Hero, they have been playing around with Phoenixes as a response, and they can be a response to Banshees. Otherwise, it's all about positional play, right? Like if Classic was able to have Stalkers in position, he should be anticipating that Banshee harass is going to be happening. Then he would have had a stronger defense. A lot of the damage that was dealt was Classic being out of position. Right? It was out of position. The Stalkers don't know where they needed to be. You can play against this with a gateway composition without Phoenixes. You don't need Phoenixes to defend against Banshees, but that is an answer that you can go for. That is like an alternative route if you do want to go for a Stargate.
I think both these guys want to take this.
And we have seen it from Classic and from Hero and from the others before.
Yeah, Maru definitely does want to, and Classic kind of.
Otherwise, like it requires you to be on point with your Stalkers and be on point with your base defense.
I think unless he gets the most insane engage possible, it is not going to be happening, especially not against this double bridge setup.
Also, Maru's maxed.
How do you even engage into this?
And this is what we were speaking about. He's maxed out.
This is going to be so difficult. He's just trying to stop Maru at this point. He doesn't want Maru to get on his side of these double bridges, but
Classic trying to make us stand at the bridges.
A couple of Zealots going to try to do some harass, but there's a PF here.
Classic is buying time.
Not going to do anything whatsoever. Maru is really just solidifying himself on these 4 bases to eventually then just skyrocket once he can get these other CCs all made up.
Yeah, he's adding in sensor towers now to give him vision for when those Zealots do harass. Oh, big fight right now.
Diving in. Tanks are a little bit too far behind.
Going through no
nice
man's
storms.
land. Big storms go down on a lot of this Terran army, actually.
Yeah.
There's a few siege tanks here. They will be picked off. This War Prism just hanging around with the
solid
Banshees
cleanup
for some
here.
reason. Somehow managed to stay alive for quite a while, but will finally fall.
The Banshees!
has actually somehow managed to find a good
The
fight there in
Banshees.
what looked like a very difficult position to engage into.
Yeah, that was really good by him, realizing that Maru stepped just a little bit too far forward. Maybe Maru not expecting Classic to be fully aware of that army movement, but Classic really capitalizes on that moment. Really takes the best
Maru's big failing there, if you noticed, Maru, he was maxed out. He was on a very low tank count. Over time, when it comes to TVP, you don't want to go out of Hellion Cyclone into Hellion Tank as you close to maxing out. And you can see here, right now, 5 tanks at a time. Now Maru realizes. So now he's building up that tank count, but he had a very low tank count there against Classic, and Classic was able to engage quite well with the Battle Mech. As Maru, he's done with Battle Mech, but it's late.
In such an amazing position, but Classic has turned this game on his head, even being the aggressor now. Going to try and engage into this mech army. Big storm goes down on those tanks. Kind of resets the tank count again. There's 6 tanks in production right now. Maru's production is insane, but he's lost a lot of units, and now this base cannot land again.
So what do we say? The soup lies, Bobby. The soup was lying. Maru was max, but inefficient army.
Base floating down to the kind of 3 o'clock position. Dude, clocks are hard, man. I use a digital clock these days.
Hey,
I don't know what time it is.
I still can do it.
I look at my phone and I'm like, oh, it's 3 o'clock.
That's the reason I wear this watch, man. I need to know what the digital clocks are.
Oh, so you can't StarCraft 2 better. Yeah, makes sense.
I literally wear a normal watch so that way, I can know what the positions
where
of the bases are.
We're collapsing on top of tanks, not enough support.
What else is sick is this army
and Classic should break this third.
Pushing the Terran base. There's not that much here from Maru. A bunch of siege tanks on the high ground. Going to try and shell out some shots, but tons of SCVs going down. Maru, this is good damage from Classic, but you don't want to lose too much here, right?
No, I mean, this is still pretty good for him, getting a lot of SCVs, bringing that count back down for Maru. One tank somehow able to just get shots off for free. Go kill that, please, Classic. There we go, realizing it. Picks it off. But now, this is a great position for Classic. Honestly, dislodging this position is very important because it is on a high ground. It makes it very difficult normally to attack into. He is just going to leave it, though. I think he could have definitely combated that a little bit more, but we'll just kind of give the position back up, but does dislodge the base at least and get good damage.
Sick pickup there on the Immortal, able to save that. These Immortals are so precious when you find the mech army. 6 High Templar being warped in at a time.
Templar viable against Mass Banshee using Storm and feedback. I mean, Storm is good for zoning always. Like, as you can see here, Classic has been using Storm mainly to zone away the Battle Mech and to zone away the Banshees.
DTs in these kind of games, I always like it, but never mind that. Here is
He's storming on the tanks.
Maru on the top of the ramp, going to be trying to weather the storm.
Can he come in from behind?
I feel like
where are the
Maru's
Zealots?
Kind of spread pretty
good.
well, but the big warp in here, is it enough?
Wow, some of those Immortals got completely stuck on a couple of units. I think they were attacking some...
And you can see here, now with a bigger tank count with a larger tank army, Maru holds. Maru holds, he takes a very strong fight. Classic overextended.
Just a couple of zealots trying to do what they can. I love
Classic was in a good position, but again, he pushed into, what was it, 10 tanks?
To really make it much more difficult to get these engagements.
Respect the tanks, back. Respect the tanks.
For Classic, and that just really worked out perfectly for him. It looked like Classic was just going to win the game there, I felt like, but those Immortals all getting stuck was really brutal underneath like 6 tanks just constantly shelling them.
It was, on one hand, it was the Immortals being stuck, but also there were no reinforcing zealots. So there was nothing to tank and nothing to draw away the tank fire. Like the tanks, they were able to just freely focus down the Archons and the Immortals as freely as they could. At Classic, he didn't have the reinforcements and the buffer he needed for his Immortal army. So a big overextension there from Classic. Big overextension.
Going to toast a ton of probes. I think Classic can deal with some probe losses. He did go up to 90, but this is kind of getting a little bit out of control. Nice control from Maru here. And yeah, both these players going to start harassing each other.
So we're getting scrappy. Like at this point, it's very scrappy, very back and forth. You can see 14 probes just went down for Classic. At the same time, Classic denies one of the bases, so we have a bit of a back and forth dynamic here.
That's what he decides to do. Dude, this base just cannot land.
Can he kill?
This is like the 3rd time this is happening. I feel
Can
like
he kill?
Deja vu right now. Is
Is
Classic about to be surrounded at this high ground position again and lose his whole army? Oh, let's find out. Doesn't look like Maru's in position for it, but we'll be trying to go on to this other side.
Planetary
of the map as well. Lots of Widow Mines on the defense, though, to be able to kill these off. And one storm, a couple of storms actually will be able to kill off some of those SCVs. So despite all the Zealots getting wiped by the Widow Mines, those double storms able to do the SCV damage that he wanted. But now the Cyclones are able to come on over with these Banshees. Will they be able to actually threaten this base? It's going to need the rest of his army to do so, I think. And here it comes. So many more Hellbats on the way. No Zealot reinforcements are going to be able to withstand this. But now
he's pushing into the natural. He found a way in.
The natural as well.
He's going for the kill.
Out of control.
If he can get on top of that Terran production, he'll be able to kill any mech units that come out. There's 2 tanks on the high ground. Going to try and make a defense in the main. He loses that base in the bottom right. He has to get some counter damage done here. And is he going to decide to go into the main is the question.
He can't.
There's so much Terran here.
There's 3 tanks off the ramp.
To this base. The probes have to get evacuated. Classic, I like this, splitting up his forces
He's going for it, though.
Be able to take out some damage out of that, get some good work kills.
The Mortals are going down.
Gets the tanks on the high ground. A little bit decisive, though, not fully sending it up the ramp. This CC will probably go down. But there's so much damage on both sides.
Again, like there was 4 tanks on the high ground. Maru, he defends.
Fiesta at this point, as every single side
he holds back at home.
Cleared by both players. Both those units having to get canceled there, realizing those are going to get deep.
We commit to the base trade.
The second time that Artosis pylon rears its head, as we have Widow Mines getting burrowed on the right-hand side to try and kill off any of these units. Huge storms on the Hellbats as we switch over to that. That's a key moment there for Classic, because his army was really starting to get overwhelmed. I feel like the amount of units that were coming from Classic was not really. Oh my God, don't walk into the Widow Mines. Unfortunately, getting a huge couple of shots as they just walk right on in. Now this is getting absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, so Maru, he defends his main base, but only the main.
Maru's economy is in the dumpster, basically relying on orbitals.
And Classic has mining. He has more mining, but does he have production? That's what matters here. Can he actually make use of the economy? Oh, he recalls.
Oh, that storm is huge, and the Archons and Stalkers come back as well.
The storm's happy. He's holding.
This army of Marus.
He's holding on.
Looking to take this game here, Gemini, in such a dominant position. The last stand, the last remnants of the Terran army march across the map, but they are not enough. Classic still has an economy. He's still on 60 workers. He still has active bases that are not mined out, so he can still make units. This is all Maru has.
Yeah, this army is nothing to do anything with, honestly. It's just a couple of tanks, some Hellbats, which should easily get dealt with by some storms. We're even picking off some of the tanks over on the right-hand side. Even if this army doesn't somehow kill this, it's going to be the reinforcements that do it. Classic, with a banger first game to start off this series. Maru trying to bring out that mech and not able to actually get it to work.
Now that is some PVT, boys. That was an awesome game.
GG, well played. The phrasing there was a little bit odd just because it was a very close game. It was very close. It was very clutch. We do expect to see more mech out of Maru. Again, like when it comes to Maru's TVP, it's either mech or 2-base all-in. That's at least all that we've seen for the past like year of play. So we'll see if he does change things coming into the remainder of the series. But very close, very close, very clutch, very back and forth. There were some good moments for Classic. There were some good moments for Maru as well. The Banshees were doing a lot of economic damage. Maru finding himself in a better position. If you recall, the big moments where Maru lost his momentum because he was ahead for the majority of the first half of the game was when he maxed out. Remember when he maxed out and when we saw that big fight in the center of the map, we spoke about it. I want to say that Maru had 4 tanks in total. Like, he had a very heavy Cyclone and Hellbat count. Even though he was maxed with a subpar army, and with that we saw Classic engage, collapse in, reset the army supply, collapse and shut down all the Hellbats, all the Cyclones, and what few tanks there were, and that then prompted Maru to go into mass tank production, where he was making 6 tanks at a time, but that was needed earlier. That was needed to max out the army, not as a replacement after the army had died. So unfortunately, Maru, his composition was lacking. It was a lacking composition there that he maxed out on, so he was in a really rough position. Eventually, he went into a more efficient composition himself, but because the supplies were so low, that's when everything was getting chaotic. We had counterattacks, run-bys, drop play, all over the place. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and honestly, that could have gone either way. Clutch recall out of Classic to be able to storm the army, and again, Maru had no economy either. Close game. GG. GG.
You can pick off the pylons, pick off workers, try to depower some stuff. If there's not enough stalkers, you can actually just kill them, because the Banshee DPS is insane. It's like very hard to cover all your bases and have detection there because they're invisible. But Classic's defense was excellent. Made quite a big comeback in that game, honestly. He was quite far behind, I felt like, at one point. But yeah, really awesome first game here. That was just game number 1, guys. We are going to be jumping into Persephone for game number 2. And this map is quite close by air, so these Banshee openers can be a little bit stronger here, I feel like. As can the Widowmine drops and stuff like that. You know where the Terran's coming from, but they get there quicker, right?
So something that's going to be viable here coming into Persephone, coming into Tokamak, coming into some of these larger maps is Stargate openers. It is said to go into Twilight Council, but Stargate openers are more viable on some of these other maps where you can open up Phoenix, where you can gain map control and have a stronger defense against early Banshee play. So we'll see. Classic does like to mix in Stargate play. We'll see if this is one of the maps to do it on.
Again, the start wasn't the problem, I think, from Maru. I think he started off quite strong. His build was very good. The amount of damage he was able to do was actually significant. Right. The Widowmine drop, of course, doesn't really ever do anything, but then the Banshees following up were able to do a lot of good damage, even though he was kind of losing some back at home as well. But overall came out pretty well in the early game, I would say. So, yeah, I wouldn't be really surprised maybe if Maru tries something similar, honestly. I feel like this mech style, he's really been liking it.
Yeah, indeed. I really like the attack he did on the bottom right base, where he sent
and again, Maru's been playing nothing but mech for the past, like, 2 months?
He does get that big
around 2 months?
Lead, he can sit back, but still send out those Hellions, because they're super cheap, right? You can remake those
specifically
really quickly.
in TVP, I should emphasize.
Tons of probes easily if there's not units in position. Even if there are, sometimes you're still going to trade out effectively. And try to keep that worker count down, because once Classic got up to 90 workers on like all those bases, the Protoss machine is just churning at that point, you know, cranking out so many units.
From here, faster factory setup, faster starports, earlier tech.
You know, a bit in the future. We don't know if it's going to be mech yet. Right now, it is just looking pretty normal here. Classic going to get a nice early shield battery here, as well as the Adept.
Yeah, he's just going to be reacting to the double gas.
There are different variations of playing mech as well. Last game, Maru, he went for a 1-1-1 fast third CC. That's like a more macro version of mech. We could see something more aggressive. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it.
Coming out from Maru. And Classic actually going for an Adept into a Sentry, which is a bit interesting. A bit of a mix between the two styles. Normally you see either Stalker then Sentry, or it's going to be like double Adept Stalker or something like that. So just going to be doing something a little bit different. Maybe we'll be tricking Maru a tiny little bit with the early Adept, but not really going to matter too much. Maybe just wants to see if he can get this early SCV kill yet again. We'll try to go for it and dives deep. We'll be able to get it. That is annoying as Maru, but losing the Adept for it is annoying as well from Classic, but the full scout essentially on all the units as well feels like a...
Oh wait, throwing down a Rax. Let's go, not mech.
Yeah, very good info.
Guys, remember, what we expect here is either we see mech or we see 2 base all in. So right now, that's in the forefront of my mind, is a 2 base all in where you pull the boys. but we'll
Obviously,
see.
you like to keep the Adept, but it just doesn't work like that. You have to lose it, basically. And then we're going to see Classic try to set up the kind of wall at the front.
Does
here.
Maru expand?
Get ready for this Hellion Reaper pressure. We see Blink on the way. That's what you need. The Medevac is coming out, so he'll be able to drop those in the main, or maybe drop them in the natural like Zoun did. He has options here. He can try to pull the army apart and, you know, drop them where it's weakest, right?
Yep. I do like the small little thing that Classic did with the early Sentry actually not using the Hallucination Scout right away after seeing that it was going to be some early poking with the Reaper Hellion. With the Adept, he just kind of kept the energy banked just in case so he could force field as much as possible.
Ooh, going for the early Viking. So yeah, so tank, early Viking. This does look like a 2-base all-in where you prioritize tank production, you move out with vanilla Marines, and we'll see if we pull any boys. Because again, we're not making SCVs. 2-base all-in.
So that's just something I can kind of put in the back of my brain.
So again, the reason why we said this is because this is what Maru's been doing this year. Again, it's either mech or 2-base all-in. Like that's all there is. That's all there is for Maru and TVP.
Marine tank SCV push, not
Dude,
super committed.
Maru's cut SCVs. He's only on 23.
It's an all-in, Gemini. It's an all-in.
Making nothing but
There's literally no
Marines,
SCVs.
Vikings, the Medevac going across the map. This is going to be insane, guys.
There's nothing
he hasn't
there,
made a worker
Gemini.
in so long right now. This is a time he's going to try and hit. He does have 2 tanks. He's got the landed Viking right now. He's got the Marines pushing up here. These Stalkers getting some very good shots off, shaving as many units as they can. That's exactly what you want to do. And he forces the siege quite far away from the natural.
Yeah, that's a nice play from Classic. He wants to slow this down as much as possible. If he could get the Medevac
can he
with
get
the
the
tanks in,
tanks?
would be
Can he get
absolutely
him?
ridiculous.
No, he
Gets
makes
the
in.
blink
He gets
before they're
one.
able to siege up, so one of them getting killed
Oh
off
my
right away.
God.
The Immortal coming in
Yeah, it takes
for the
on
second
both.
one as well. A clinical defense so far from Classic, despite the fact that it looked like he was going to be getting caught off guard with such a fast attack from Maru, even going to be able to kill off that Medevac and everything on the ground with no upgrades on these Marines. A slow Viking.
Yeah,
There's
vanilla
not really much
Marines.
you can do as long as you just
Classic
get back to that
holds.
battery. You will be safe. Maru knows it, and he just leaves the game. Classic, amazing defense.
Wow, what a mix-up from Maru. Just cutting SCVs on 23, deciding to send it, said, no, I don't want to play another 25 macro late game with you. I'm going to make something happen. Classic was ready, though. Classic kind of identified
he made
it.
something happen.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things. If we can, at the start of the series, if we can call
that's the
that
kind of
Maru's
game
going to
where
play
if it
mech
works,
or
you feel
2-base
great
all in,
because
like
it's
Classic knows that
right?
as well.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Maru,
yeah, so fast,
Maru has a
but
reputation,
if it
like he has a
fails, you
certain
suddenly
style that he
slow it down and you
plays,
didn't give
which
yourself
is one of the
a
big
lot of chances
downsides
to make
of
something happen. It's kind of a
like
one-shot
limiting yourself
deal
to
there.
playing like
It does
certain
fall
styles and
flat.
certain builds and doing
Classic
nothing
is
but
up
that
2-0
is
now
that
in this
players
series.
are going to
Yeah,
have
that
better
was
reads on
very
you.
brutal from Maru.
Classic did a
It was
really
really
nice job when it came to the
goes
surround,
back,
when it came to
heavy
catching out the
notice
tanks, and he shut down the all-in. And now we're getting into game 3, potentially the final game of the
They're going to be a
series.
little bit aggressive, but they'll still kind of try to macro out of it, kind of. But
Right.
yeah, with
Potentially.
no SCVs actually being made that entire time, anyways, as well, makes it basically impossible for him to. recover from
Depending
that.
on the map, we'll see. But depending on the map, we could see mech again. We could see another variation of mech. We could see a more aggressive form of mech as well. I mentioned before that the build we saw to Maru in game 1, which was the 1-1-1 into 3rd CC, is the more greedy economic form of going into mech, but there are more aggressive forms, so we'll see. We could also see a proxy, true. We could see like a proxy Turax, like 1-base all in. That could also be viable here for Maru. But don't expect to see like standard Byron like mid-game play. Like no shot. No shot, man. No shot. I'd love to be proven wrong though. Like I'd love to actually see Maru get into the mid-game on 3 bases and get into ghost play and then like play like Bjorn. Like I'm always quite fond of seeing Bjorn's TVP, but we'll see. We'll see. For now, you can support, of course, the RSL via Patreon, !RSL in the chat. We get a link to their Patreon page, so you can support them, you can help them grow the event, and help them improve the event as well, as we're still just only in the 2nd season. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but again, the RSL is still quite young when it comes to how long it's been around. But we're going to be going on a short break. Going to be going on a break. See you soon after the break. we are back here. We are back, and we returned with our upper bracket semifinals of the RSL, the Rival Soccer League Season 2. Of course, we are nearing the end of the broadcast. We had a really fast initial series between Zoun and Cure, and so far we're having a relatively fast series here. I say relatively fast, even though Game 2 was very one-sided, I don't want to take away from Game 1, because if you remember, Game 1 was a banger. Like, Game 1 was very close, very clutch, very back and forth between Maru and Classic on Ultra Love, so that's what I want more of. And I can 100% see Maru winning. Like, I can see Maru winning games. Like, he almost won on Ultra Love. Like, Ultra Love could have gone either way. So, depending on the map, we'll see if we can make a comeback happen. Let's go.
Only cool Giga Chavs are in the top upper bracket, man. No one wants to be a beta loser in the bottom bracket.
Dude, there was a thing where people were like, don't call it the losers bracket, let's call it the lower bracket. It's offensive to the players.
Bro, those guys are losers.
If you lost, you're in the losers bracket.
If you lost the match, you deserve to be called a loser.
So funny because neither of us would last 5 minutes.
We would get bodied. I have been bodied by Classic numerous times. Anytime I sign up for these open Korean Cups, literally have played for him the first round so many times, and he fucking kills me with 2 adepts. I'm just like,
couple of units.
I was like, I'm gonna last 7 minutes this time, I swear, and then boom, 2 more.
I'm in the camp that prefers to call it like elimination match, a lower bracket.
No, it doesn't.
So you're just out.
I am just out. That's true. I'm not technically a loser.
You're not a loser.
I'm not labeled as a loser.
You were in winners.
I'm just an eliminated person.
Yeah. Anyway, the third map is going to be what, Gemini?
Your favorite
Economic opener.
Yeah, it is Tokamak. Is Tokamak, guys.
So welcome one all to Tokamak. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool, longer rush distance by ground, very defendable on 4 bases. So there was some smudging happening in the chat. Hold on. So there was some smudging happening in the chat about the series almost being over. And true, right? Like Classic, he is 1 game away from taking the series. But we are loading into a very large map, right? Whether it was going to be Tokamak or Maganatha, I actually really like Tokamak here for a player like Maru. I do think this map is going to suit him when it comes to playing mech, slowing the game down, and maxing out, and getting into his ideal composition of choice. I'm making the assumption that he is going to play mech and going to Banshee play and Hyperflight Rotors and Speed Banshees. Like, my assumption is he's going to play that way here in Tokamak, just because I feel like it would work quite well. But we'll see. We'll see. Coming into the series, I never really expected Maru to play standard and to play bio into a 3rd base, but hey, there's a first for anything, for everything even, so we'll see where Maru takes us. For now, economic opener, racks, expand, delayed CC, everything's looking normal so far.
I feel like he's going to just be feeling so good coming into this 3rd game as if he's untouchable.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about Protoss and how good they've become at defending recently. They kind of like...
What are you trying to say here, Steve?
No, I mean, like, it's just like they defend so well multiple layers of aggression every game without taking many losses, and that's kind of just normal now. It kind of reminds me of like early Zerg, like when they had to deal with
third map
like
is Tokamak. I mean,
I
wonder what gave you that idea.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, we just make this one unit
That's crazy.
for the first 5 minutes. That was pretty sweet.
How'd you figure it out?
I'm pretty impressed by the Protoss these days. The defense is so good, and the Terrans have tons of builds, and they try loads of different stuff. It's just cool to see. It is going to be another Hellion here coming out from Maru. Actually going to just run by this Stalker, going to get out on the map.
This is a Hellion opener, but not reactor to Hellion, so just the one.
And the Marines just hugging that barracks.
Stalkers, they deny mining, and nice damage here by Classic. No mining at the natural. Until the Cyclone arrives.
If comes out, it might die, but he's going to wait until he has enough and then move down the ramp, right?
Oh, he just cancels it and then remakes it. He doesn't want to lose
smart,
it.
Yeah.
So just tries to keep the Stalkers preoccupied until he's got enough units. I guess he's just waiting for the Cyclone and the couple extra Marines. So this is annoying from
Cloak
Classic.
Banshee.
I mean, Maru doesn't really want to
if this is going to be mech, we're expecting Cloak Banshee into a 3rd CC.
He's not insane.
Yeah, he's not.
And that would be the same build that we saw previously in Game 1 on Ultra Low.
Actually, a recall getting forced.
Oh,
wow.
losing
almost losing both of them. That would have been brutal if he actually did. Yeah, Classic, I guess, overstaying his welcome. Kind of maybe just not realizing like, oh, there might be a Cyclone.
Yeah.
He just kind of left those there, just kind of forgot about them for a second there. Was dealing with that Hellion.
Maru,
sure
he's banking resources. Do you see what I see?
Forced to recall. So that's missed energy. You don't really want to recall at this time. That you
Cloak Banshee, tank production.
Right, exactly.
Show us the third CC.
You know, Protoss has a lot of energy on those Nexus Gemini.
There it is. Third CC mech. All right. So Maru, he's playing mech. This is the same build that we saw in game 1. So same build. We should be seeing a second factory and a third factory from here. I might be getting ahead of myself. This is like a relatively new build. You know, it's been around for 2 months. But at this point, I feel like I feel confident.
What if it dies when it
We'll
could
see.
have lived on 10 HP?
What if it dies when it's got 95% of its health? Oh.
Even though it's like not possible at this point in the game, but yeah, Maru didn't actually repair it.
Hallucination
It's
Scouts
actually still on
confirms.
orange health.
So nice scout with the hallucination. Did get eyes on the researching tech lab. Did get eyes on the tank production. Did get eyes on the third CC. So classic nice.
And just suddenly nuked my arm.
And yep, there it is. Second factory, third factory. So mech. So
Yeah,
yeah,
not going to be the case, obviously.
we
Pretty
can see it
normal,
coming back. We can
kind
see
of
it coming.
transitions here. Classic going to be getting his third base, and Maru going for a quick third.
But again, winding it back, I do like this build on Tokamak. I do like the idea of Maru slowing the game down and getting into mech. I do think that that's his best chance to take down Classic. This is like going to be this is going to be Maru at his best.
Definitely a throwback. You do not see this much at all
Double
anymore.
forge.
This is a very old style. Was pretty common. I mean, years ago. I mean, literally creator pioneered this style in 2012 and won TSL with that. So honestly, a very old style going back super far, but it's been used many times throughout the years. But has not been
As a reminder, what Classic is going for is
I think
Double
Classic
Forge
kinda
and Mass
realized
Gateway.
that Maru is
This is a
just
reaction to what
going
he
mech, like, every
scouted.
single
Remember,
time.
he
He's
already
coming
saw
up with
mech.
different
He already
ideas
saw
to
mech out of
deal with
Maru
this meching
after the
style.
hallucination
Going for
scout,
a
so
very
he's getting ready
fast
for a very
double
strong
upgrade,
timing.
knowing there's not going to be any super early aggression. It's just going to be some harass. The Banshees, of course, will be annoying, but that's not going to stop you from going into 2 forges very quickly, and then you go into everything else after that. I like this adaptation from Classic.
Yeah, and it lines up very well, especially against the early third CC. You know, Terran can't have a huge army to kill you before the upgrades come out, so you're definitely going to.
I agree with what Gemini said. Like, I do think this is just a really smart build choice from Classic. I do think it's a nice adaptation.
That's going to give Maru a headache, or maybe a panic attack if he doesn't detect it. But we'll see. Wait, what's he doing with this?
I think he literally just flew it by and was just like, hey, look, I might do this.
Did he see it? Did Maru see it?
I think so.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
not.
Oh, you just think so? Now he thinks it's in the airspace.
Yeah, that's
actually
the idea.
so sick.
Ooh,
Yeah, so
real supply block.
at any point, like a warp in could happen.
I don't know if he actually saw it though. Is the funny thing. He's not reacting in any way.
That's what I thought,
Or he just completely called the bluff. I'm not really sure, but it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, Giga Chad move. I know that's hallucinated. These Hellions going to push in here. Catch him Zealous warping in. Actually, okay, 1 for 1. Not too bad for either player. Storm is on the way. Classic going to be rounding out his tech. He's going for the double robo here. Going to pump out Immortals 2 at a time. That's what he used very well in that first game to deal with the mech army eventually. Maru again his blue flame upgrade as well as a bunch of cyclones. He's going battle mech here.
Yep. It's generally the style it seems like the Terrans do like to go because it gives you some amount of map presence, some mobility. Just sitting back and just going straight into mass tanks is kind of abusable as a Protoss player if they know how to deal with it. You can do tons of different things. I mean, just big charge or mortal busts will kill it. You can see that and just go super fast tech switch into
From here again, because of Double Forge, fast 2-2. 2-2 upgrades are now on the horizon. Storm is finishing up. Banshees, they do hit the base. Safety cannon here will actually force us back. Let's go.
You're allowed to do it.
As you can see, we have actually cannons at the fringe bases. So again, a nice adaptation here by Classic. Again, he's evolving over the course of the series,
from some of these pro level
refining his play.
And yeah, it just gives you so many units so quickly. Look how big these armies look. They just look so beefy.
They are big indeed, Gemini. Maru's got a 35
Maru gets
army
spotted by the
supply
observer.
advantage right now. Classic going to be the one probably defending. There's so many L-Bats.
Ooh.
Nice storms go down on
Brutal
the Terran
storms.
army. Forces the siege. That's what you wanted, right? You need to buy a little bit more time here as Classic. Let your four base economy kick in. He has 85 probes right now. Going to be cranking out so
Now we'll see
many
if Maru can
units.
find those
If
High
you can
Templar and
force
snipe them with
this,
the Banshees.
mech army to kind of siege once or twice across the map.
Maru
You
scans.
can get out such a bigger army to deal with it. These Cyclones being annoying here, picking off whatever they can. Of course, the Blink can, what do you call that? Unlock the lock-on. What's the word?
Break.
Help me here.
Dodge the lock-on,
Dodge
I
the
guess?
lock-on. He
Cancel
dodges
the
the
lock-on.
lock-on. Cancels the lock-on. So soon. Maru's still trying to make some headway here. It's going to be slow progress. I think unsieging the tanks might be a little bit risky here, as Classic is kind of sharking around to see what he can
big
get
unsiege.
done.
Classic does dive in immediately.
Really
Oh my
difficult for
god.
Maru to get up because Classic is doing a great job of
Very
just
nice
hiding
storms.
up here, waiting for Maru to make any misplay, and that's when you strike with the storms.
He's rushing
on
past
top
the
of all
storms,
the
though.
Hellbats, all the cyclones, and that's where he's finally
Where are the
able to get
zealots?
that
Where's the
damage.
support?
But once
We
those
need
storms
support
are
for
done,
the
once
Immortals.
they're gone,
Oh,
it seems
no.
like there's nothing left for Classic. The
Yeah,
Immortals
not enough
able to
support
get
for Classic. Where were the Zealots across the map? The Zealots, I mean, they will get some damage done, but alas, because that, the Immortals go down. Immortals go down. Ay, ay, ay.
I feel so vindicated, Gemini. You should have repaired it. But this is so much Terran right now, knocking on the door of Classic here. Going to push in. The Siege Tank's finally getting a good spot. That's what he's been looking for. The
Oh my God.
Banshee's raining down on the Immortals from the side. So much DPS, and he can't answer that. A bunch of SCVs do go
That was
down
a
to
clutch
Zella
hold.
run by, I guess. But these tanks will get cleared up here, and Classic
That
has
was very
somehow held
clutch.
this.
Wow, that was close on that defense. There was no observer in that fight for a long time, it seemed like. He finally had to bring one over, and that's when he was able to start killing off those Banshees, and then also then getting some extra Zealot Warpins to clear out the tanks since the Storms finally were able to kill off the rest of those Hellbats.
But we had some very juicy storms towards the end. A better concave at a Classic. He barely held on. Again, that was so close. Maru was so close to breaking and winning the game then and there, but Classic survives.
Pros is on 85.
Yeah,
I mean,
in
that's-
this sense, it's not quite that, but you know, you feel like you did so much damage, yet they're still at an insane work account anyways. It's
These
like, God,
players,
what do
you
I have to
always
do?
got to find a way to take a shot at the Zergs, Gemini. I
You
squash
guys-
them and they come back.
You guys had too much success for years and years. You got to take some heat, all right?
All right. Anyway, it's your turn now. So two cannons going down here again. Some static defense. Should probably heal that CC up at some point, but no, Zealous obviously won't go for it. They'll get the SCVs instead. That's guaranteed damage, and it can be healed if he ever needs to. Yep, just I feel like Classic did such a good job defending that. I thought he was going to be in trouble there. This is what I would like to see more from Maru. Getting these Hellion harassment squads going down into the corner bases or the outermost
But again,
bases.
after
Try and trade
game
them out
one,
for
where the
probes.
Banshees are doing so much
It
economic
would be
damage, you
really
can see that now
cost-efficient
Classic has got two
to
cannons in every
Hellion
base.
for probes. This
the
random
cannons are up.
Stalker squad is gonna come
He's
in
had
here,
enough of the
forced to
Banshees.
blink away, does
And it's
lose one.
worked. I mean, the Banshees, they've
And,
gotten nowhere
Classic
near
is
as much
getting his
damage.
High Templar, he's getting his Immortals,
Classic
and
is
he's gonna
maxing out,
play
getting up
that,
to 4 or 5
mass
bases.
base macro style that we saw in the first game.
Yeah, this is going to get a bit of a pause for now on the action. It seems like both players just trying to get to their maxed out states. Classic getting there first. Maru about to get there himself. But Maru generally doesn't really need to be the one doing anything crazy at this point. Because again, he is the
Sky
meching
Toss.
player. They are always going to be sitting
So
back.
we're getting ready for the ideal late
trying
game.
to,
So Classic has been
force
keeping up. The game is slowing down. Maru's turtling up on 4 bases, and Classic is thinking about Tempest, thinking about Sky
It's going to be
Toss.
Classic that's going to try to multi-prong Maru to death at this point, as he's got an army over on the top
That's big
left-hand
ups.
side with his bottom right army also trying to find any sort of wiggle room that he can to get anything. But Maru is very good on the defense for now. It's going to force Classic into an ultra-late transition, which is going to be the double Stargate.
And now this is a real Warp Prism, guys. He can actually warp in units with that. It's not the mind game that we saw earlier, so if he can get some Zealots in the main, that could be huge. The mech army will struggle to get back there in time. Classic bringing all his forces together to hit this base over here.
takes down
Big
2
storms
tanks.
go down. Tanks are falling. There is another layer behind that on the high ground. So Classic gonna have to pause here for a moment, but he does cancel a CC. Maru defending for his life right now, but doing a
Prism
very
goes down.
good job. Love those 3 turrets there to deny that War Prism.
Yeah, that's very nice placement from Maru. We'll be able to kill that off, and that's going to alleviate a lot of pressure that he was probably feeling in that moment. He did get a nice defense on the left-hand side.
Oh
and a
my
sick
God.
siege up as well. Classic not prepared for that, and actually loses a large majority of his army, but now
but
the
let's get
Zealots
in.
coming in over on the right-hand side as well. Going to try to kill as many SCVs as
Now,
possible.
what's
What a nice
important throughout
reaction
all
from
this?
Maru.
Right now, what's
Keeps
Classic
those
doing?
safe.
Classic is
But still,
containing,
on the
Classic is
left-hand side,
poking
these
in.
tanks did
Yes,
not
he's
get
losing a lot. Oh, he's losing a lot of High Templar, but look at the production tab. Sky Toss. +1 air attack is on the way. Second Stargate's on the way. Fleet Beacon's on the way. He's getting ready for that Sky Toss transition.
And Classic adding another Stargate here, Gemini. Is your favorite thing. 2 Warp Prisms on the way. Oh my
Whoa.
god, so many bases.
love that.
92 probes. He is going full macro toss here. He's going to probably try and make that Sky Toss transition at some point. When do you do it is the question. You do have that little vulnerable period before you get a critical mass of those air units. But he's buying himself a lot of time by being active on the map. letting him take that top left base, which might normally be the Terrans. He's also got this 5 o'clock base. Look at me go with the clock numbers. Got this 5 o'clock base down there as well. His macro is really good. Huge economy. He's got to be careful, though. He has been losing quite a few units here and there.
Yeah, you got to be very careful going up onto these ramps. These high ground positions are very difficult to get into. The double war prism was interesting. I think he's doing that simply to make it so that way one of them is like just gonna, yeah, it looks like he's gonna just tank the front one, and then the second one will be allowed to get in. So it's literally just a fodder prism at this point to try and get the warp in the main. Curious if see why he didn't go for a Robo Bay to get the prism speed, because at this point in the game, this is actually very good to have. But now you can see this is working out perfectly. The first one tanks so many of the shots, so that way they can guarantee at least one of them getting in. And now we can get a 2 Zealot warping because Classic's actually maxed. So a bit anticlimactic on that
He's
warp
gonna
in.
warp in so much stuff. 2 Zealots, Bill and Bob warp in. They're like, hey guys, what's up?
Oh, the tanks on siege!
Like,
No, the tanks!
Oh my God, so many siege tanks
2,
here.
3, 4, 5, 6,
Huge
7.
pickoff for Classic.
10?
His immortal count is actually
No
pretty
shot.
big right
Oh my
now,
God.
doing so much damage
12?
to these tanks. Gonna drop the Hellbats
Oh,
on the army. I
Jesus.
love that move. That tech lab gonna go down on the starport. No more Banshees will be able to.
That was 10 tanks going down, Pappy. And yes, you can see that both players, they fall in supply, but Classic is remaxing with what? With carriers.
And yeah, I mean, 3 carriers are being made at a time right now. Does Maru know about it?
Yeah, that's going to be the next question, because that fight from him was actually very good. He was able to get the the Hellbats loaded up into the medevacs, boost them onto the army, and while it looked like Classic was going to take a nice engagement, he was able to swing it nicely at the end. But the problem is that he doesn't seem to yet identify that this carrier transition is actually happening, because he's still spamming out Hellbats, spamming out Cyclones. Cyclones still could be pretty good against the carriers if they can get close enough, but that's the problem. Can you actually get them in range of the carriers?
Ooh, miscontrol
and will
there by
they be able
Classic.
to DPS them down quick enough is
Late
the question.
blinks.
Nice
Had we're
storms going off
exposed.
on this main army here, but this army continues to
come
be
the carriers.
so large from Maru, as the rest of it from Classic seems pretty
Where are the
split up,
Cyclones? Only
as the
3
two
Cyclones,
carriers
down to
do
2.
make their name shown, and they need to target down
Down
these
to
Cyclones
1.
so that way the
0.
tanks can just
0
get absolutely
Cyclones.
killed
Oh, they're
off.
rallying in.
Yeah, the anti-air here is lacking for Maru. Immediately fired up a Thor. Literally within like half a second, he fired up the Thor production so quick. On the adaption there, going to adjust his army composition. He is able to make 3 at a time. That is what you need.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and look at this,
disgusting.
so much free damage. He's trying to escape, but that's so many tanks going down, and Maru, he plummets in supply. That's going to be, what, 3, 4, 5 tanks falling. And Maru down to 120 supply.
I don't think
And
so,
here
man.
the
Look
soup
at
is not
this
lying.
stuff
It's
on
not
the
it's
side
not
of
lying this
RSL,
time,
killing off
Pappy.
more SCVs.
It's not
The
lying.
army size is going to be greatly lowered now that all these tanks have finally gotten killed off. 2 random tanks coming in to deal some amount of harass, but again, Zealot Warbins will be totally fine to deal with that. They can't shoot what's right on top of them, so that's going to be dealt with nice and easily.
Can we dream of
Classic
battleships?
sitting
I think
at
he
a
means battle
beautiful
cruisers.
200 supply, 95
No.
probes as well is
There's
ridiculous,
no
so his
production setup
economy is just
for mass
amazing
BC.
at this point. I honestly would love it actually if he would just get the gases now, because he's actually not got too much of that in the bank. He's got plenty of minerals, but not too much gas, as he's now needing that, I think, to go into the full-on late-game Sky Toss transition. But for now, yeah, Classic is in full control. The tempo is in his favor. The tech is in his favor. Maru needs to find a way back.
Absolutely. I like what you said about adding on the gases there. At the 9 o'clock and the 11 o'clock base, that would be really good.
Look at you and your numbers.
I'm just on the roll with this now. I know the clock. I learned that when I was younger. I know it. Got that in the bank. And Classic has a lot of minerals in the bank as well. Gonna be, he just has a huge Sky Toss force coming out here. Maru frantically trying to make Thors, trying to get as much anti-air, but there's only 4 Thors on the field.
That's a tongue twister.
Jesus.
4
Try
Thors
saying
on
that
the field
5
right
times
now.
Thors are good. They're not that good, though, because here we go. The carriers have arrived. Storm here on the Hellbat, Storm on the tanks as well. We're trying to target down those Thors. Oh, the carriers have to be careful with how they engage. Again, those 4 Thors, they can hold their own, and they do focus on one of the carriers. 2 carriers going down. The Thors do defend. This is also why Tempests are superior to carriers in almost every circumstance. Carriers are really good as the initial kind of rush unit, minutes to catch your opponent off guard, but 10% the more efficient unit every time.
To really just kind of kill them off nice and quickly. So still actually able to put up a fight is Maru, despite the fact that his supply overall is less. That's mostly just the SCVs.
So you gotta be careful with those carriers.
Still pretty large. He was able to get a good number of Thors out. Classic gave him a little bit more breathing room, and so these Thors are going to be the linchpin of the army at this point. But now it's also kind of up to Classic to realize this and potentially also switch it back into ground once we get a remax situation. Because if you just delete most of the threatening ground army, a big more than Zealot swell is going to just eliminate all those Thors.
Absolutely. I think Classic is up to 8 bases right now, 86 workers, so he will be able to remake a huge army. Like you said, big Zealot Warpins would be huge. Gonna try a little run by here. Maru's army is in position, so he takes a tank out. Maru's only sitting on 5 bases right now, and he's only just taken that 5th.
Now, what's scary for Classic is that Maru, he just expanded, right? If Maru, if he was contained on 4 bases, different story, but now he has a fresh mining base. Crucial moment here for Maru.
This game here is going to be very tough, though.
Yeah, I do like this, that Classic continues to just split up
as
many
he finds 3 tanks.
Possible. Even just a few
3 tanks good for free. Not bad.
Stalkers, able to kill off those tanks.
Maru getting pulled apart. He doesn't have the supply to defend.
Valuable at this point. Storms going
yeah, Maru, he's spread thin, out of position. Tanks are going to be going down. Thors are exposed. Doesn't quite get them though. Again, Thors, they hold their own.
You don't want to just go into any more tanks there. 18 more SCVs in total. Looks like there was a storm.
The Thors are so beefy.
Well, so that's very nice. But yeah, Classic continuing this pressure, doesn't want to let up.
And as you mentioned, Classic will now switch back into the ground army. He says, okay, you've made 20 Thors. You know what's good against that? 20 Immortals and a bunch of Zealots. So that is what he's going to do now. Try to alter his composition. Kind of like late game Zerg, right? Like, oh, I'm making Broodlords and I'm remaxing on Ultralisk. Oh, the
he gets in! Let's go!
I love this so much. The
recall into the main.
Mothership coming on in. It would be so sick if he had a War Prism as well to be able to
Classic, he wants to end it in style. Slow zone on the ramp. It came to production. Goes to the kill move, Pappy. Let's go.
The production getting completely wiped here from Classic. This is an excellent move.
Yeah, this is
calm down, Pappy. Calm down. At the same time, going to be striking top left. No anti-air. The carrier has free reign. And you can see the Thors are too thick. The Thors are too thick. They can't push up the ramp. Oh, I know.
Maru on the ropes right now. Going to try and pick off
the carriers
from a distance, but he is in so much trouble here. Even gonna try and get that CC. I think he might repair it in time.
You can see they're getting stuck.
But,
oh
yeah,
god.
His whole main base is gone here, Gemini.
And remember, Classic and recall. Maybe he can just recall out. There it is. There's the base recall.
See ya.
Disgusting.
Nice to have the little play date in the main base. I'm done. My mom's called up. Dinner's ready. See you later. Classic with a 3-0, punching Maru into the losers bracket.
What a game from Classic. Absolutely just beautiful play.
GG, well played. As we mentioned before, coming into Tokamak, this was going to be Maru's chance to make mech work. And he did have some strong moments himself, true. But at the same time, I will say that Classic did a really great job at adapting to Maru in Game 3. We spoke about it. Game 1 was very shaky. Could have gone either way. We could have seen a Game 4, maybe even a Game 5, if Maru had taken Game 1. Like, Game 1 was very close. Very, very close game. But we saw here in Game 3, we saw one, Classic recognize the build. Remember, he scouted the third CC, so he knew it was mech, right? Running back. He scouted mech really early. What was his response? Fast double forge, fast upgrades. On top of that, we saw Classic react and respond with cannons. He had a lot more cannons in his bases, so this time the Hyperlight Rotor Banshees were not getting anywhere near as much damage. This time there was static defense to deter, to provide detection, and to just delay and just be a threat, of course, to said Banshees. So less damage with the Banshees, better tech and more economy from the Protoss as well. So Classic, he just was able to refine his play against Maru here. In the end, was still very tense, and on top of all that, because of the larger map, because this is not Oceanborn, because this map was not Ultralove, on Ultralove we saw that Maru was a lot more active, a lot more aggressive, and was a lot more in the face of Classic. On a larger map like Tokamak, it does typically, the game slows down. The game slows down a lot more on Tokamak to max out and to refine your army composition instead. Because of that, something that we didn't get to see on Ultralove, but we saw here on Tokamak was Skytoss. Skytoss was a little more of a viable option for a Classic, so he was quick to switch to Skytoss, and it went unscouted. We saw that Maru, he had no answer to that. The first time the first time the carriers showed up, they killed everything. They reset the tank count. If you remember, Maru, he was maxed. He plummeted to 120 supply. He lost 80 supply worth of units to that first carrier push. I would argue that he stayed on carriers too much. I think it would have been better if he had switched out of carrier into Tempest faster, but instead he just went into Immortal Charge anyway. GG. And of course, cherry on top with the record to the main. GG, well played. Very impressive play there by Classic. And Classic came in as the favorite player. I know there's always people that are tuning in maybe after a long break, or people that are tuning in for the first time in a long time, but Maru has been playing mech and going for purely all-ins all year. Maru, he has been playing very differently compared to years past. He's a little more predictable in his play, and this is why I would say he struggles a lot more against players like Classic and against players like Hero. Hero and Classic have been looking much more dominant over Maru this year because Maru has been a little bit more one note here. He has not been playing like Bjorn, for example. He's not been playing Bio into Ghost, into the mid game, into the late game. Maru has been avoiding that style the entire year and has been having his own approach instead. Problem as well, though, is that it is a little bit more predictable, and just because he has a style that he's known for and he sticks to it, sort of thing. Specifically in TVP and in TVZ as well, I would argue, also kind of has his own style that is very Maru, I should say. But with that, hope you'll enjoy yourselves. That is going to be us wrapping up with the RSL, and in 1 hour's time, we're going to be back. We're going to be back here with Maestros of the game. So again, we have 2 casts back to back. As you can see here on our schedule here on the right-hand side, bam, you can see that we just wrapped up with our first cast of RSL. We're here on Sunday evening, and we're going to be live in 1 hour with Maestros of the game with some more StarCraft. Now, we did get an update here. It's a little bit unfortunate, but Classic has forfeited. Classic has forfeited Maestros of the game. The rationale for this is that Classic, he is unavailable to travel to France. He cannot travel to Paris. So because he cannot travel, because he cannot be a part of the offline event, I think either there's something else clashing in Classic's life with that tournament date, or he has not been able to get a visa. It's one or the other. I'm not sure which one, whether it's visa or whether it's clashing with something else, but Classic cannot go to Paris. So because that, Classic has forfeited over in Maestros of the game, and that does mean that there's going to be more opportunities for the other players to make it through instead. We'll get there. We'll get a little bit more into it in tonight's broadcast. So it is very sad that Classic cannot take part in Maestros, but hey, at least, you know, he's doing well in RSL. There's a lot of tournaments going on right now, so might not be able to travel for one, which is a big offline event with a big prize pool, but at least is able to thrive here in RSL. Smurge, papi, smurge. So wish the best to Classic. Otherwise, with that, we're going to be wrapping up for the time being. And again, we'll be back. We'll be live in less than an hour's time. I'm going to take this moment to quickly freshen up and get ready for the next cast. So if you enjoyed it, do consider following !socials in the chat. You can tune in to our socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord, all things CranKy Ducklings. We are live on a daily basis here, as you can see with our schedule. We're live every single day. We're typically live multiple times a day as well. But because of Maestros and of RSL, we have decided to forego morning casts. So we have back-to-back broadcasts, at least for the near future, before getting back into the morning cast as well. The morning cast is usually more NA friendly, and we try to have like one cast for the NAs, for the people in NA, and one cast for the people in EU. We try to have like one in the morning, one in the evening, but recently our schedules hasn't allowed for that, unfortunately. So there's more StarCraft going on. I would love to cast more, but we just don't have the time. We don't have the time on our schedule. But yes, we're going to be back in an hour. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for support. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid, and we'll see you guys next time. Later. We'll see you guys in an hour, less than an hour, for some more StarCraft. See you then, papi. See you then. Hasta luego.